Queen's gonna come to B1 though.
It really is. He's getting a bit more time on the clock.
But even then, like, you got to watch out for, like, queen b4, queen c3, queen coming to c1. I guess you always have knight c2, worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, just go queen b... Ah, queen g6 check! No!
Oh, my God!
He bungled it! I can't believe it!
Baby needs a new pair of shoes, Lawrence!
Never bet against Mazetovic.
And he's going to be a three-time dad now because the pawn on b2 is going to...
God. Hello everybody, a very warm welcome to yet another installment of the Pro Chess League Central Division, and I'm here once again with my partner in crime, amongst other things, Jen Shahade. Hi Jen.
Hello everyone, it's great to be back. Lawrence, this is so exciting. Big game, just 2 weeks left in the Pro Chess League regular season before we get into the playoffs. And let's take a look at, because the game between the Snowballs and the Towers have already begun.
We can go straight there. Perhaps very quickly before we go there, we'll have a quick look at the current standings, because I know everybody's shouting, what's going on? Who's winning? Well, here you go. Here are the standings. This is a little screenshot of the Central Division. And as we can see at the top, we've got the Snowballs and the Migraines leading the way on 4.5 points, followed closely by the Turtles from Ljubljana and the Blockbusters. The top 4 places do qualify. This is the penultimate week. And then we've got the Puffins, the Mosquitoes, and then the 2 London teams in desperate trouble. Who's going to get through, Jen? Well, this is going to be a crucial week. And one of the crucial matchups is between the Lions and the Stockholm Snowballs, isn't it? And we're going to go right there.
Well, it's actually the Towers versus Snowballs.
I beg your pardon, the Towers versus Snowballs.
So in a way, this one is not that crucial because the Snowballs are almost definitely in and the Towers are definitely out. But it matters for who you play, right? And the one plays 4 and 2 plays 3, so it is significant. But what match really appeals to me today is the Puffins, because the Puffins is that team that if they win their next 2 matches, they do have a chance to get in there. But the pressure's really on. They got to win.
They do. But they're already starting with a slight deficit here, -1, Jen, on the scoreboard. Perhaps you can tell our fans why they've got -1 on the scores. I think it's because one of their boards have defaulted. They had to put in a last-minute replacement, which is against the rules of Pro Chess.
Oh my God, that's terrible. Yes. That's the worst week to do that, because I was going to say, you know, in the last round they get to play the Mosquitoes, but you know what, Lawrence? Let's just get into the games because
happy to do that.
We already have Gawain Jones playing against Ina Agrest.
Yes.
We also have George Meyer, one of the favorites in the Central Division. He is playing against Sumaroa. So some big games to start up the day.
Some big games. I'm looking at the Ina Agrest game against Gawain Jones now. Gawain, my darling Gawain. I played Gawain very recently. In fact, about a week ago at a an invitational blitz tournament over in England. And as per usual, I got, you know, an extra piece or something like that against Gawain and didn't win. So Gawain is a tricky customer, you know, piece up, pawn up, doesn't matter. He can really cause you problems. He's playing against Ina Agrest, who's a very dangerous player and a very important cog in the Snowballs wheel, because she scores a lot of really important points despite being their bottom board on paper. And we've got a game here where Ina has actually won a pawn. She's just gone c takes b4, but Gawain has got his favourite Dragon Bishop here on g7. He's also got what I like to call the inverse Dragon Bishop here on c6. And it looks as though Ina's going to struggle to get her pieces developed because all of her pieces are covering e4. So to get the rest of her pieces out looks difficult. I actually quite like Gawain's position here. I think he's the sort of position that Gawain revels in. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. Another one is very interesting. Gawain's better half, Sue Marora, is playing white against the super solid Georg Meyer. and Sue playing with the white pieces. Don't underestimate Sue. She's scored a couple of big wins, certainly over the board. I've seen her beat numerous grandmasters, despite being only rated 2083. Obviously heavily outrated as we speak against Georg Meyer, but she's got a very reasonable position. We've got a Tarash defense and a very, very reasonable position here. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, you gotta like that the bishop on d3. It's such a lovely piece. And with this move that you just played, a5, she also is trying to prevent the light squared bishop from getting out easily via b6. And yeah, I'm fine with white in this position, Lawrence. Who would you prefer to take?
I've got a really bad experience with white because I played this opening. I played the Tarash, been playing it all my life. It's pretty much the only opening that I've stuck with since the beginning. But I really like what Sue has done with this early advance of the A-pawn, as you rightly said, Jen, stopping b6 or b5. Because if black ever gets the bishop on the long diagonal, it's a really annoying piece to play against. I actually have a terrible score in these systems with white. So I like what she's done. I guess she's just going to play c3 here, just to support this knight and not fall for any bishop h2 checks. No, she retreats with knight b3, also very reasonable. Now perhaps she wants to even land like so in some positions. So certainly a reasonable position for Sue, and we'll keep an eye out for that.
And I had some news on the Puffins.
Yes.
They had to make a very late lineup change, and unfortunately it was so close to the match that the penalty is a full point instead of half a point because it was really a last minute change.
Oh, there we go.
But the commissioner, my brother Greg, he assures everyone that it was a really good reason and wasn't at all irresponsible of them to do that. As we know, the Puffins are so serious about the league, especially considering the standings. But unforeseen circumstances, they are going to start out with a big disadvantage against the Lions, which, you know, it's too bad because the real tension in the standings right now, I think, is will the Puffins perhaps come from behind and make the playoffs?
It's going to be really interesting. Yeah.
I mean, you know, who knows though? Anything can happen, even with that -1. You never know, right, Lawrence?
Absolutely. It's only 1 point. There are many more points. You've got to get to 8.5. It is a blow, but not an insurmountable one, especially against, you know, a London Lions team which has been a bit out of sorts this season as well. So, in fact, I can see out the corner of my eye, another match has kicked off, but this looks like the Turtles against the Cam Blockbusters match has kicked off, which is an interesting matchup, but again, it looks as though they are both going to qualify. I would bet that they both qualify, actually. I think they are two very strong teams. It's going to be a very close match. I can see some games have already kicked off there as well, so we can check in with those guys. For the moment, Sue looks like she's got a perfectly reasonable position. Rook on h4 looks a bit out of place here.
Well, yeah, it looks out of place if it doesn't work out into some kind of, you know, rook takes h6. But with the dark squared bishop gone, that those types of ideas are no longer very likely, are they?
No, they're not likely. So
that was the point of this maneuver from Gawain to play. I mean, from George Meyer, sorry, to play bishop h2 check and then bishop f4. Get rid of that dark squared bishop, which is always menacing the h6 pawn. So I gotta like that idea.
Yeah, I agree. So,
and yet, is black much better? This move that Sue played, rook c4, to kind of beckon the queen to the weak b8 square.
Is it weak? That's the point. I think it's a bit of a misconception that the queen is bad here. I think the queen is actually very good here. I think it controls some key squares along this diagonal. Can also switch diagonals sometimes, and it can just jump into play. Queen c7 or queen d6 is hardly boxed in over there on b8. So I think black is doing just fine here.
And as for white's point of view, the rook on h4 looks weird, but if we keep the game in the middle game, it's not that bad. You know, it is guarding some key squares, and it's not that easy to attack, right? Because there's no clear minor piece that can harass the rook on h4. So something like knight d4, trying to play knight takes c6 or knight takes e6, looks like it could compel it could compel black to play bishop d5, but it seems that rook e1 was played instead, and then rook d5 was played by...
Yeah, rook d5 is interesting. I think the idea is to basically, if knight d4, to then be able to retreat back to d7, and this a5 pawn is on brief. So I think that's quite an interesting defensive idea here by Georg Meier. And we'll see what happens. I think we should switch to another game here, Jen.
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Let's go to Thomas Rendell, who's playing against Yevgeny Agres from the same match. Very kind of similar position in some ways, a kind of Frenchy, Karakani structure, and one where he's playing against very experienced Yevgeny Agres, where probably white may just be for choice, although it's close, because I'm concerned whether Yevgeny is just going to punt the g-pawn down the board to try and open up this h-file. So I wonder if g5 is a legitimate threat. And then, how are you going to stop g4? Not easy. I would definitely be thinking about... he wants to go bishop d1. But then g4 anyway. Well, I don't know how you're going to stop this. Actually, this looks very dangerous.
Meanwhile, the second match has already begun between the Blockbusters and the Turtles.
That's true. So we've got lots of games to go to there. Anyone in particular?
And those two teams are fighting off to see who's going to get the top position. And you never know. They do have to make sure that they don't lose their last two matches, because then something bizarre could happen and they could be left out of contention. So very important match. And the Turtles have a massive tiebreak advantage on the Blockbusters. So if the Blockbusters want to have a better position, then they would really need to step it up. But Lawrence, the funny thing about the Pro Chess League is, what if the Blockbusters think that it's better to play against the Snowballs and the Migraines?
Yeah. I mean, strategies differ, right? I mean, it really depends on the team on the day as well, I guess. I'm not really sure. What would you prefer, Jen?
Well, I mean, the Migraines do seem to be incredibly strong. I mean, of course, they have Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, one of the best players in the world. Less of a balanced team, though, with their fourth forward, Marc-Andrea Maruzzi, the youngster, getting lots of great positions, but often it's really coming down to their top GMs. Yeah. Today, if you take a look at their team in particular, they've got a really front-loaded squad with Sebastian Mazet, yeah. Sebastian Mazet and Yannick Gazzoli.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just a...
They're going for it today.
The Snowballs are a really great team, too. A little bit less lopsided, I would say, right? Yeah. Because usually they have like a 2,300 on the last board for their team. So, interesting. Be curious to see how this plays out. Thomas has just played pawn to g4, which, well... let's just say is, can you go, am I going mad? Can you go knight takes g4 here? No. He went bishop f4, which also looks very reasonable. I hate pawn to g4. I mean, if you have to play that move, it's really bad. Now rook to h6 and the doubling on the h-file, or rook to h4 and the doubling on the h-file, and it looks very good for black. So I expect Thomas to struggle here, actually, if I'm honest. Where else should we go? We've got Valentina Gunina playing. Yeah, that's always one of our funnest, most fun players, right?
Another
I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Always she's playing white against, oh my gosh, and she doesn't disappoint. Like, it does seem like when you look at her games, there's a lot of really interesting games. I remember you joked last time that you've never seen her win an endgame. She's the opposite to Georg Meier, who I've never... Oh, by the way, I still owe the guy a DVD. Why do I do this to myself? Valentina I've never seen win an endgame, except, I might have seen it. Slight poetic license on the exaggeration there. But she is a very aggressive player, loves middle games, loves combinations and tactics and dynamic chess, which is why she's got the positions we've got here. She is actually
Is she pawn down? 3, 6, 3. She is a pawn down, but look at the black king, uncastled, white rooks, white pieces in the middle. This is the sort of position that she really thrives in. And I don't like black's position at all, I have to say.
Wait a second. What do you... 6 and 6, right?
Is it 6?
I mean, you must really like her position now.
I mean, I really like her position now. Is it 6 and 6? I can't count, guys.
It is 6 and 6.
Oh my goodness, I can't count. Yeah, I like her position very much, even more so now. And bishop a6 just played. Looks okay. So the question is how...
Bishop a6 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, you just want to trade off in this position with your king in the center and all of these menacing pieces.
I think if I'm Valentina, I'd take this off and then go knight a5. That's what I would do. Try and put a pony on c4. Yasser would be proud. By the way, I learned something. So for everybody who follows me, well, religiously, not just from time to time, will know that I was in Iceland just a few days ago for a small holiday with my better half. And apparently, if you speak to an Icelandic farmer and call his horse, the Icelandic breed of horse is actually a lot smaller than your traditional Western horse. But if you call it a pony, he gets very offended because they are horses, just because they're a bit smaller. So there's a little bit of trivia. Don't ever go to Iceland and call a horse a pony. And if you go to East London and go to a guy and say, can I have a pony, please? A pony doesn't mean a pony. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I'm learning so much. And I guess I shouldn't call, shouldn't call your chess knights ponies either, huh?
I think who calls them ponies?
That's where you were going with this, right?
I think who calls them ponies? What's somebody famous? Is it Yasser who calls them ponies?
I think he sometimes does.
Okay. Anyway, if you ask...
Yeah. This position now, so you're saying that after queen e2, so what is her plan? Does she want to play queen to e4?
I'm not entirely sure what her plan is, to be honest. I mean...
Queen a4, knight a5, knight c6.
Yeah. I mean, I want to get a knight here as well, but I think a really reasonable plan would be to go queen e4, and then the... if not queen e4 straight away, maybe to play this mysterious looking move, rook f1, Jen. How about that? Do you like that one? Rook f1 to be able enable knight e1 round to d3 and then break with f4 with the king on f8. That's deep.
That's a very interesting idea.
Let's see if she does it, because you see this structure more often in a Caracal with this early g5. So I wonder if
she goes for the direct queen e4, which I like because this knight coming to a5 followed by knight c6 does seem a bit irritating. I mean, I guess the problem is you can't play rook c8, because if you play rook c8, then I have knight takes d4, and the pin on the c file is going to get you.
That's true. So you have to play like rook d8, probably.
So any other move besides rook c8, basically. d8, b8. Why is king g7 not good? That's another question.
Yeah, you can go king g7 as well, of course, connecting the rooks. I wonder if Valentina also wants to go h4 here. That's another idea behind queen e4, is that she's now ready to go h4 and try and weaken this pawn here. I like White's position. I think White's doing very well.
Oh, of course. It's Danny Wrench is what the Twitch chat is saying. It's Danny who's always calling the horses the
ponies. Danny! I thought it was Yasser. It's Danny, you're right. It is Danny. By the way, a pony in East London in Cockney rhyming slang is £25. So there's a pony, there's a bullseye, there's a monkey, and various others. So if you get really confused and you're in the East End of London, Jen, and you're playing some cards in some back room, smoky filled back room, and somebody asks you have you got a pony on you, it doesn't mean have you got a small horse thing with you. Anyway, let's go to another game. We've got an all grandmaster clash here, I see out the corner of my eye, between Matej Shebenik and Maxime Lagrave. Looks like a fairly normal position, to be honest, at the moment. Bit better for White, more space. I like it for White, a bit better. Not too interesting though. Is there any other games that catch
I'm wondering why Leon Beast is not playing yet. Or did he already Leon Beast? Who's Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, of course. It looks like that's just because their games haven't started yet. I think they're probably going to start any minute.
Yes.
I'm just keeping my eye on that. He's going to be playing against Jazo Lopez. And Loek Van Wely, playing for the Mosquitoes, is going to be playing against Marc-Andrea Marusi, which that kid has played some fantastic games.
He's played great.
Yeah, he had a winning game against Jabova last week, I think.
Yeah, he had a winning position against Jabova in the first round. That's right. Yeah. So
yeah, Jabova, and that was a really beautiful game too. And then I think he ended up only drawing because Jabova.
No, he lost. He lost against Jabova.
Oh, he lost. Yeah.
He lost
okay.
against Jabova.
But I remember that was some really fascinating tactics.
Really good.
there.
Yeah.
So, even those lopsided battles, the kid is just phenomenal in the opening and the middle game. His problem is he just runs out of time.
He does run out of time. We've also got Chess Flav. A personal shout out to Flavio Perez. Flavio, that's your favorite name, Jen, isn't it? You love the name Flavio.
Flavio is wonderful. He's on my fantasy team now.
I wonder, he's not the only one on your fantasy. You're not the only one who's chosen him as part of their fantasy team. I can tell you that.
Are you in it as well?
Experience.
You got it? He's on your squad?
I haven't got Flavio. No, I haven't got Flavio, unfortunately. So, but I know somebody who does have Flavio. So, thank you very much. Sorry, I'm not speaking to you there, Jen. My wonderful personal assistant has come with a nice cup of coffee because we didn't get our food in time, huh, Jen? And now I'm going to be foodless for this entire broadcast.
Oh my God, well that's good because the coffee works even better on an empty stomach,
And
Lawrence.
by the way,
buzzing off the walls. Let's do this.
You haven't seen me buzz off the walls, but there is time. And by the way, I should point out that the Puffins have started. And a shout out to the Puffins this week, because I was in Reykjavik barely 3 days ago. What a wonderful country. Beautiful landscape. I've got some great videos that I might even put on my social media, which I don't often do, and some great photos. And guess what I've got, Jen? I don't know if you can see this. A Reykjavik mug. Can you guys see that? That's a mug. It says Reykjavik, and do you know the amazing thing about it? It's normally black, but it goes white when you put hot water in it. Wow. I'll show you guys.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
That is amazing. A color-changing mug from Reykjavik. And I've even got... Oh, am I allowed to advertise Iceland water? I'm probably not. Oops. Don't sue me, Iceland. God, if they sued me, I'd be broke. It's so expensive out there. You know what happened, Jen? First night, big storm. Half of the month's rainfall in one night in Reykjavik. We're inside. We can't go out. We order a bit of Chinese food. 2 boxes of noodles and a bunch of spring rolls. If you guess to the nearest dollar... No, I don't want to... No, let's not do that. How much did it cost? 2 boxes of noodles and spring rolls in Reykjavik, takeout.
$15.
$15, I wish. Do you know how much? $80, Jen.
Stop it.
I'm not joking.
Oh my God.
I nearly had a heart attack, but we had nothing to eat all day.
You got
it's terrible
again, Lawrence. You gotta stop gambling with the delivery man.
It's ridiculous. $80.
Grow up and gamble. It's a new business plan. But you know what? What happened to Vanina? Vanina, 1989. I'm looking at her game against the Turtles, Leonardo.
It went south.
And I'm not liking it, Lawrence. She's up in exchange, but it looks like Scribeni has traded off into an endgame, which is a huge win because his king was in some difficulties. And
well, I mean, it's not that clear. She's an exchange.
I gotta kind of prefer black now.
I'm not sure. I mean, she's an exchange up, right? I mean, it's not totally
exchange up for 2 pawns.
Yeah, but, a nice blockade on those pawns. I'm not sure how easy this is for black. Black does have very good knights, though, and this c5 pawn is very well protected. So I think this is a bit unclear. Rook b2 is a very good move, by the way. Rook b2 is an excellent move because now you get the pair of rooks off and then you get this rook round to c4. So I actually think I might take white, actually, because this pawn on a7 is now loose. Yeah, I would take white here. Anyway, just going very quickly back to Reykjavik, guys. How do you afford to live there? Like, really, guys? What
by
the hell
playing
is...
chess for the Puffins, obviously.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we've got Helgi Olafsson.
We do.
You know, the pressure is on the Puffins. Helgi Olafsson playing against Andy Horton for the Lions. The Lions can certainly affect the destiny today. And we've got Olafsson.
This is Jornsville. Horton Olafsson is taking place in Jornsville. So we'll come back to... I mean, look at this. This is just...
So Olafsson was the replacement, I think.
Right.
That was because I'm looking at the original standings and I'm seeing that his name's not there. So he was the last minute replacement that was put in for very valid reasons, but is giving the Puffins a point deficit in the overall score. It means that the pressure is on, but they also don't want to overreact.
Yeah, so it's only a point. It's only one win.
Yeah, Olafsson here playing a very solid game with Black. He's got a little bit of a time edge, and, you know, potentially that pawn on d4 with so many trades can become a weakness rather than a strength. So, you know, this is the kind of game that looks okay for Andy, but he could find himself in trouble if he's not careful, actually. No more attacking chances with the extra space. Instead, you got to kind of worry about things like queen b2, little tickles here. So I'd actually take Black here, especially if you account for the fact that he's got an extra 3 minutes on the clock.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, I think he's doing fine. So we're going to go to another game because it's a bit dull, this one. We got Marcus...
let's look at another Puffins game.
Yeah. We got Harvey against Kjartansson here.
Yeah, that's what I put my eyes on as well. This looks like an intriguing endgame.
This is... Do you know there are more sheep in Iceland than there are people, Jen? 500,000 sheep, approximately 350,000 people. I'm just going to be blasting. I was on those tour buses, you know. I've got Iceland knowledge to the eyeballs, right?
I like it.
Yeah, we're going to be blasting you with that.
So are you going to sheep to d5?
Sheep to d5.
Of course, this knight on d5 is going to be snatched off. You can't let that guy live. Too powerful. So I think we're just going to see bishop takes d5 here, and then after rook takes d5. What do you think? Is Black going to play bishop takes f6 or not?
Yes.
Okay. So you think it's going to be capture, capture, capture here?
Capture, and, well, you can win f6. So I guess he'll go rook e6 here.
Can you win it so easily, though? Because after rook e6, I'll play... I guess I'll play... yeah, you're right. I was thinking I'll play rook on d6.
Yeah, you can do that, but then...
Because you can't play rook c6 because of rook e8, right?
So I'll take it and go rook d8, and you'll come behind. Actually, it's not so clear, because after king f8, d7, there's no way for this king to enter. Actually, this would be losing for Black. So hold on a second here. Hold on, let's not jump the gun. Let's not jump the gun. Rook c6, rook d6. Yeah, not so easy. Not so easy, my little friend.
Mixing lots of analogies here.
Yeah, bit of Scarface, bit of Icelandic bus tours. You get it all on the Pro Chess League, guys. I imagine I'm getting absolutely destroyed in the chat this week. I don't mind, guys. I'll let you off 1 week. 1 week for the trolling.
I feel like they like it. Because they get to complain about it.
They love the trivia.
I mean, I get that. I like it. That was the whole reason I got pregnant. So bishop g7.
Bishop g7 on the board. Oh, bishop g7. That's a surprising.
I don't like that. I liked that those lines we were looking at better than this. But okay, rook to d5.
I mean, white should still be just about okay here, or
yeah, why not? I mean, you're worried about rook e6, rook e8,
and then it's, you know, maybe organizing and.
I mean, I'd be so much more worried if Black could somehow get his king activated, but that pawn on e5, until it's captured, it does a really good job of holding the king back.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is very true.
So the chat is saying he's sold. He's moving to Iceland.
No, I'm not moving to Iceland.
One very rich person in the chat said that. And it looks like the Mosquitoes game against the Migraine is underway.
That has happened.
The Migraines, and Sebastian Maze is playing against Elias van der Laan. So
I'm gonna try and find
that must mean that Maxime's game is also underway, indeed. Maxime is playing against Jazo Lopez, but it looks like he might be late to the game because Jazo's played d4 and Maxime has not yet made a move.
Maybe he's never seen this before and is a bit stumped. And what is this d4 move you speak of, Jazo?
Maybe he's going to take a cue from Magnus and play something like knight a6 or knight h6 here.
Yeah, that's what Magnus did, right? He played knight a3, I think, a little early. He plays any, and he still gets a good position. It's insane. It's just insane. Anyway.
So this is a little worrisome. We'll try to get the story on that, guys. Why Maxime has not yet made a move. MVL, is he having an internet connection? But that doesn't bode that's not a good start for the migraines to have some technical issues on that board. So
really not good, yeah.
Interesting. And meanwhile, another fascinating matchup for me, as I mentioned earlier, the youngster always getting good positions in the opening. Marc-Andrea Maruzzi playing against Loek Van Wely, and yet again his opening, I like it. He's playing some kind of Fianchetto against Loek Van Wely, Scheveningen, and just playing great moves. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps this up for the next 10, 15 moves, but then unfortunately he's going to get blitzed by Loek, and that's always a problem for him.
Yeah.
But maybe he'll overcome it this time because, you know, he is making these opening moves very quickly.
He's doing better. He's doing better.
Yeah.
Just out the corner of my eye, I see that Thomas Rendell did make a draw, which is a big result for him against Yevgeny Agrest. And I believe there was another draw in that match as well. So it's currently 1-1 between the Towers and the Snowballs with no other games yet completed. And you're right, I really like Marc-Andrea's position, but Loek Van Wely, a legend of Sicilians, Scheveningen, Cairns, and everything else in between. Played these positions since he was in short pants, and he's going to feel very comfortable here. He's going to play a move like Queen C7 or Queen A5 or Knight D7 because he needs to avoid some E5 trick. So he's going to...
exactly. E5 is kind of a threat right now. Or, Queen C7 is a very typical Knight archetype move.
And he went
Knight D7 was his choice, Lawrence, just stopping E5 directly.
Now you just go F4 with white. You don't have to think here. Just go F4. That is the right move here. You just go with it. You got to roll with it, you know, as Oasis said. So you got to roll with it. F4, buddy. Go. Go for it. Go for his throat.
I like it. I mean,
it's kind of standard.
Just get on with the attack.
Get on with
E5 ideas, F5 ideas. This is what we
just
play the white side of the Sicilian for, isn't it?
Just gain space.
So many games going on right now. And MVL has arrived.
He's arrived.
Thank goodness he's arrived, but he's given a 4-minute time advantage to Jazo Lopez, who's played a kind of anti-Indian here, with just a bishop f4 on the second move.
I really wanted to make a joke there, but I didn't do it. I held back, Jen. Are you proud of me? We don't make this game political on
Okay, yes, I certainly do not mean anything.
Anti-Indian game.
Yeah, yes. Bishop f4, g6, and it's interesting because it looks like it's kind of transposed into modern type position or perk defense. But it's done so with this bishop on f4, which is usually not the most effective line against the perk or modern. So you got to love a world-class player, one of the best in the world, MBL, understanding that and transposing into that. It's just so adroit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, we'll keep an eye on MVL. Always nice to see Maxime. Have we got any other big games? Valentina is... Let's go back to that Valentina game. That was really interesting.
Oh God, I'm groaning because she's on my fantasy team too, and this is not looking good at all, Lawrence. Those pawns are just infiltrating.
Those pawns, yeah, something went a bit wrong for it. Still not easy, but those pawns, he is only sort of 1 or 2 moves from just going c3 and c2. So,
I mean, just eyeballing it. Remember that our advantage in this position is the rook. But look at the rook on e3.
King d4, let's go.
Yeah.
Use the king as an attacking piece, guys. Now knight d5. Oh, this is gorgeous.
It is. You are really showing the power of the ponies here.
Look at that centralization.
Hashtag Danny Ranch. Power of the ponies.
Power of the
Pony
ponies.
power.
Power of those ponies. Look at those guys.
Oh gosh,
This is winning.
like you're dead. Any move here for black. I mean, can you find a losing move, Lawrence?
I could find a losing move. That's my speciality, Jen.
C3, D2, knight C3 check. Like they all look pretty good. C3 was the natural choice.
Yeah.
And
yeah, Valentina's not surviving here because he's just going to go D2 and knight E3 check or knight E3 first, and the pawns are rolling. So there's nothing you can do, basically. Nothing you can do.
Yeah, or knight, just knight E3. Knight E3 immediately is also fine because you can't even play bishop takes C3. We just take with the knight.
It's over. Valentina's going down here. So
35 seconds left for the turtle, but that's plenty of time because the moves are just too easy to play.
No, they are. They really, really are.
And meanwhile, in the game,
what else have we got?
I'm keeping an eye. Oh, why don't we go to a game, Chess Flav versus Luka Lenic, because we've got another situation with an extra exchange for Flavio, but this one's a lot more balanced because Flavio has only given up one pawn for it. So it's a very strong rook and bishop for Luka Lenic, but Flavio, instead of Vanina, he's given up one pawn, not two. So I have no idea what's going on here, Lawrence. I mean, who's better? Who would you take?
I prefer black.
Because of the idea of bishop e3 and rook takes a3, that kind of stuff?
Not really because of that so much, but because I think it's very difficult to activate the white rooks.
Now, Flavio was trying. He just played the move rook d1. He was trying to get in there. King e7.
Yeah, now he has to go passive again. And
he's thinking that bishop b3, he's just going to play rook b3 and it's going to be a draw.
Right.
Yeah, that's why he's shifting it back and forth, I see. Because otherwise bishop b3 would be like really good. You're just forcing the win of the pawn on a3, right?
Right. I think now...
That's some pretty good defense, in a blitz game. And I think this is why you say that he's underrated, because he finds this idea of rook d1, restricting your king, and then back to b1. It's very patient and active at the same time. I personally think that that's kind of difficult to find, and that a lot of players might go down here versus Luka Lenic, but he might hold the draw because of this good idea.
And also remember, if you go bishop b3 here, the idea is rook d6, and then rook f3 is coming, and this f6 pawn might fall. So, okay, so he's going another way. He wants to put the rook on b3. But
Black is going for the win. He is not going for the draw. I like it. He's up a minute, and he's got the GM in front of his name. That's raw. Rook d7 check, king e6, but rook b7 is another idea, so that after, like, you just can't play b4 and a3, which would be really irritating.
Bishop f1. Has he missed that? Oh no! Flavy.
That's
Fabi.
It's gonna be pretty dangerous, Lawrence.
Fabi.
When you say when his position is good, you call him Fabi by accident.
Right, that's true.
But if his position's not good, you can't make that accident.
Oh no,
you can't make that mistake here. Not Mr. 8-0 Fabiano Caruana from the Super Saturday result.
Actually, Rook D1 is brilliant. Hold on. Rook D1 is absolutely brilliant. Does it save? Rook takes G2.
Rook takes G2, we have King F3, then Rook G1 and Rook E1. That's good.
Yeah, Rook E1.
But what's wrong with Bishop G2?
Bishop G2, just Rook G1, and the bishop was trapped.
Oh my God.
So he can't actually do it. Wow.
Oh my God.
Flavio
Rook
hanging
D1
on.
is a sick move. What? I've never seen the bishop get tracked in that exact way before. That's incredible. Wow. What defense. Defense under pressure, guys. This is not easy.
Chess
really
is a very rich game.
Very impressive. And I think he's going to do it. There's so many other games going on.
Yeah, we've got 20 games. Let's go.
We've got some
let's
others
go to Mazetovic.
Sabenik and Lagarde. I'm seeing a time scramble in the game between Maxime Lagarde for the migraines.
Okay. Trying to get his
but it looks like Black is winning. He's just up in exchange.
Okay.
Yeah, Black is just up in exchange. So maybe that's not the most interesting one. Any other time scrambles that you noticed, Lawrence?
Time scrambles.
It looks like Chess Flav versus Michelangelo is the only other one.
Oh, there's Raphael against Rikikits as well. This is the one that you said, Šibenik against Lagarde.
Yeah, but black's
over.
just up an exchange.
That's
yeah,
true.
so.
That's easy. Other times scrambles I cannot see at the moment.
No, it seems like it's just the Cheslav.
Yeah. Mark Andrea is something.
Oh yeah, let's check in on that game. How's he doing against the king?
It went
the king of the mosquitoes. Wrong. The king of the mosquitoes. That sounds pretty cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's actually a sequel to Lord of the Flies. That might be my best joke today. Shout out to the best joke. Let's go. They're getting better, guys. I'm on my coffee, my Reykjavik cup. Here you go.
You're on your coffee with the empty stomach, so
yeah, let's go.
That's gonna get you. That's a way to maximize your caffeine abuse.
Is it?
Don't eat anything.
Okay, there we go. So what else is going on? We've also got a few other games that have kicked off. We've got.
Well, you were mentioning Marc-Andre against the King of the Mosquitoes.
I did.
And what do you think? Who do you take?
I take black.
I gotta like the classic Sicilian strategy of Loek Van Wely. I mean, look at him. He hasn't done anything that seems that special, but he's got the dream Sicilian.
Yeah.
And it's all in those like little subtleties, like knight d7. He's got his bishop on the dragon. This is what I love, Lawrence. That he's got his bishop on the dragon diagonal, but he hasn't weakened his king position with g6. Now, isn't that the best of both worlds?
Yeah, I mean, there was an argument to be had that g6 isn't so much of a weakening of the king, but having the bishop there anyway must be good. And knight d1, you're having to go backwards now with white as Marc-Andre. And now I expect to move like knight c5, which he just played, and bishop c5, he'll go queen takes c5, and knight e3 blocking it, keeping, and now the a3 pawn is hanging, and yeah, it's pretty much all over. The problem with these positions with white and the Sicilian is that when they go wrong, they go downhill really, really quickly. And
that's why people love playing the Sicilian. When you're playing against a lower rated player, or if you're just in a must-win mood, you got to go for it. And Lawrence, look at that. Doesn't that taste delicious, that pawn on a3? I got to tease you because you're really hungry.
I'm actually just having some out of my Reykjavik cup. By the way, did you know, am I doing the Reykjavik trivia? No, I better stop with that. The chat's going to get really
it's just like a succulent piece of salmon sushi, or maybe a delicious box of chocolates.
Talking about salmon, there's a very specific river just as you head out of Reykjavik city, where the salmon, they come in and they lay their eggs, and the fable goes that the salmon that lays their eggs, the salmon that grows up, so the freshly born salmon, remembers this specific river. I don't know the name of it in Icelandic because it's too much. And they come back there to lay their own eggs later on. They are so attached emotionally to that place. That's what the salmon does. There's some more Reykjavik trivia for you guys.
And it looks like Czesław did make the draw against Michelangelo.
Well done, Czesław.
Yeah, indeed.
Great result.
And of course, we saw that Maxime Lagrave was winning the game against the Turtle. So it looks like it's a good start overall.
Yeah.
For the blockbusters, isn't it?
Very good start for the blockbusters.
From the games that we've looked at, indeed.
Well, they're up 2.5, 1.5, so they've won the first round. There's still one game in the Towers against the Snowballs going on. What game is that? Why is there still one game from the Towers against the Snowballs? Where is that? Why can't I locate that? Or has it just not been updated? That's what I think. I think the admin needs a bit of a, rollicking. Let's go to another game. We do have an all Grandmaster clash between Verde Notte, aka Gawain Jones, and Andre Diamant
let's take a look
Brazil.
At that. The Grandmaster from Brazil versus Gawain Jones. We've got a
random position, so kind of typical of Gawain.
Yeah.
And
okay, so it was some kind of Sicilian, some kind of like anti-Sicilian.
Anti-Sicilian, a la Gawain.
Right? And
yeah. Gawain actually wrote a book on this. Should be noted.
Yeah, I mean, white looks. I like white because of the bishop on b3. It's stronger than that bishop on e7. I mean, that's an understatement, right? The bishop on b3 is beautifully placed. The bishop on e7 is terrible. in Black's favor, at least he's going to get queens off the board in these types of bishops of opposite colors situation where White has an edge. That will be a huge relief for Black, but I still really like White because that knight on c3 is going to find itself trying to maneuver to something like f5 square.
Whoa!
But instead of moving the knight to e2 and allowing
Queen h6, baby, let's go.
Queen h6, White wants to keep queens on the board, and that's the reason for this move. I love it. I love this idea, Lawrence, but the question is he going to lose the pawn on f2, and does it matter?
Not really when mate is on the cards. I'm surprised that in this position, actually, on move 19, Diamant had the opportunity to exchange queens, but he didn't. And he allowed Gawain. Queen h6,
what
g6.
Happens if g6, rook g6?
Yeah, that's what you want, but it doesn't work. The reason why rook g6 doesn't work is because after hg6, queen g6, king h8, queen h6, the knight can now block on h7. So that would stop White's attack. But instead, White has played the very natural knight d5. And you know the special rule, right, Jen? I'm sure we went over this. When you are the attacking side and you have opposite color bishops, you profit from being the attacking side. So
well, that line that you just showed, if we play knight d5, bishop d5, now rook g6 will be a threat because there's no more monkey business with blocking. And as soon as we bring the other rook into the game, it's just checkmate.
Or pony business, as...
But instead of bishop takes d5, after knight takes d5, Gawain Jones chose to take with d5 with the rook.
This is
so
also
what's the
very
idea here? After
he wants to go
F2,
rook h5, simply. He wants to put the rook on h5 and mate Black. So the big question is, what happens
well, what about queen g1 check, right? Yeah, show that line. So if queen f2, rook h5, had we like, queen g1 check, we're basically forced to, there's queen f3 first.
Yeah, he's not going to play rook h5 here.
So we can't do that because it just queen takes f3.
He's going to play rook
followed
f5.
By rook c1.
Rook f5.
So we played rook f5.
Does this work? It looks like it works. It's so sick. No, it doesn't work.
Rook f5.
Well, rook f5 now threatens rook takes g6 check, h takes g6, queen takes g6 check, king h8, and rook h5 mate. Very simple. So here, my guess is that Black has to play the move king h8. Is that the only move? King h8, and now if you take on f7 with the rook, I can take back, bishop takes f7, and I have just a move here to get coordinated. Maybe a move like bishop f8, keeping you on the board. But queen h3 hits my rook, darn it. But it's not, because king g7, queen takes c8, queen takes f3 is a draw. Rook g2 and perpetual. So there's a lot of resources. My spidey senses say that Black has got enough resources to hold here. That's what I'm saying. Jen, do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you know anything about sheep in Reykjavik?
Well, this is a fascinating game. I mean, I do wonder about taking on d5 with the bishop earlier. It seemed like it was maybe a little bit more straightforward, keeping the rook for ideas like just rook g6 and queen g6 and rook coming back to d1. This excursion by the rook leaves us open to some perpetual check ideas, even though it seems much more aggressive. So I'm really interested to see how this goes, but with so much time left on both clocks, I got to agree with you, Lawrence, that there's a good chance that Andre is going to find these types of defenses because, he has to, right? It's like he's almost forced to find the resources in his lines. Now, a game that I found really intriguing, it just looks so bizarre, is Maxime Vachier-Lagrave's game against Jazo Lopez. The pieces are just in like really weird squares.
Let's go there.
And I'm trying to evaluate this position. It looks like White is White just down a piece here? For how many pawns? For like 2 pawns or something?
No, it looks completely dead for White.
So it's just dead for White, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, White's going to pick up another pawn with bishop takes c4.
Maybe it's not dead, but it ain't good.
Yeah, Black's pieces are not very happy right now, but it's Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and he's up a piece. So if he wiggles out of this, we expect him to figure it out if there's a way.
Jen, look at this. The Puffins, who started out with a 1-point deficit, are now leading after the first round. They've beaten the Lions essentially 3-1, but because of the deficit, they're now winning 2-1. So the -1, they're like, don't care, let's go. Puffins winning, and the Lions on the back foot. Now, talking about the Puffins, Jen, and talking about NBL, who we are watching right now, I want to take this moment, if I may, to let everybody know in the Chess.com chat, if you were watching this on the last occasion when I was commentating with Jen, I said that NBL was going to save a position. And we bet 2 boxes of chocolates, because it was Valentine's Day. We bet that, I bet that NBL was going to save. And, of course, I was wrong. Bjorkmeyer won the match. And Jen Shahade won 2 boxes of chocolates. And just to show, guys, I flew all the way to France to pick up this very cheap box of Ferrero Rocher. But not just one. No, no, no. I keep my promises. Oh, am I allowed to advertise this? Too late. 2 boxes of Genium chocolate as part of the bet. Don't ever say I don't pay my debts. Don't ever say I don't live up to my bets. There you go, Jen.
Lawrence
Congratulations.
always pays his debts. Is
Congratulations.
That right?
I'm like a Lannister, except with a lot less debt. That's the point.
Thank you, Lawrence. I am
That's
so
all right.
excited to savor each and every one of those chocolates.
You do like them as well, right?
Oh,
you love them.
I love it.
There we go.
I love it.
There we go.
You're gonna be hard pressed to find a sweet thing that I don't like. I have to tell you though.
I could break out in song here, but I'm going to resist it. Where else should we go? This MVL game is not really making me excited.
You want to check in with Van Wely?
I do want to check in with Van Wely. Let's see how he's doing. I guess he's crushing.
This game seems to be getting a little bit more interesting, I got to tell you. I mean, it looks like White is down 2 pawns, but he just got a little bit of activity with this move, Rook D7. He's threatening Queen F7, and he's hitting the bishop on B7.
Yeah, but what about just Rook 6 back to E7?
Yeah.
It's not that interesting.
I mean, I'm wondering if we win the E4 pawn somehow, if that will make things interesting.
Nah. You can't even win the E4 pawn because your queen is pinned.
Yeah, Rook takes E. No. So if Rook E7...
Rook E7, Queen E7, maybe if I want as well, I can just come back with the Queen. And 2 pawns are 2 pawns. Give me your pawns, baby. That's a yes or no.
That's the truth. That's the truth. It does look like problems for the youngster.
Yeah. Got a number of Grandmaster clashes. But should we be...
versus Miguel Admiral of the Mosquitoes is still underway. That game looks pretty tight. Both players with their trumps.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of like White, though.
Yeah, I prefer White ever so slightly, although a bishop is a bishop.
And a big time advantage for White.
Yeah, huge time advantage. I do prefer White. We've literally got about 30 games going on at the moment.
I know. And
it's
there's
insane.
Also Sebastian of the Migraines against Vanderland of the Mosquitoes. This one's really interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot of...
It's just go time because the Mosquito only has a tiny bit of time left on his clock, but it looks like he's trying to break through with an attack here as White. And it looks very threatening, Lawrence, because that pawn on H5 can now take on G6.
Whoa,
if you recapture,
hold on a
we
second.
have Queen F3 check.
I've got to get there,
the knight on B3.
I've got to get there. Which game is this?
Sebastian Maze, who goes by
Mazetovic, yeah.
And I think we might see an upset here, Lawrence, because this move played by Elias was very strong. Queen F3 was better than the idea that I was mentioning.
Really? It still looks great for black. Or am I just... Maybe not. Maybe you're right. Maybe the queen is coming to F6 and the knight
I'm going to win G6. I thought that would be good. Oh, but there's knight D2.
Just take it. Think later.
Rook D2, bishop D2, pawn takes G6.
Yeah, he did it. He did it. Maybe queen... Yeah, pawn takes G6. And now what?
Well, it looks like more fun for White. Knight's coming to F5.
Bishop F4. Well, bishop F4 was a very good
Knight
move.
coming to H5 is maybe even better.
What about G7? What about G7 check here, Jen?
G7 check. Oh my God, King G7, Queen F4.
Bingo.
If King G7, Queen F4. So if you have to play King G8, we have Queen H5.
Queen H5
threatening mate.
King G8, Queen H5, King G7, and now.
And it looks like Mad Dog offered a draw. Take the draw. Take the draw. That's a bad draw for Lawrence.
That's not cool.
I don't think that this is a bad time to offer a draw. Maze is going to take that draw and say thank you.
Because I'm not sure. Mazetovic likes to win games.
Maze, but King G7, Queen takes F4, you can't play that position. King G8, Queen H5, you can't play that position.
Actually, after King G8,
King E7 maybe?
After King G8, you know, he really wants a queen sacrifice on F4 in some lines. That would be so sexy, but it doesn't work, unfortunately.
That would be sexy. Yes, you're trying to play like Knight F5, Queen F4, Knight H6 mate.
Yeah.
Can we just like help show that variation on the board?
Yeah, so King G8, we'll go Knight F5, and then we'll say B4, and now White's got the stunning Queen takes F4, E takes F4, but it's not mate, because Knight H6, King H7, so there is no mate. That's the problem. Doesn't quite work out.
But it's a cool pattern, you know, that kind of pattern recognition is like so important. I'm seeing in the chat people are excited to
tell us
to see Ho Yifan.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, Ho Yifan's going to be playing for the Chess Bros.
Women's world, top women player in the world right now. You know, just with Judith not being active anymore, Ho Yifan, and you were right. He declined a draw despite the terror of being in this position.
Yeah, Maze is not
my God.
Look,
you were right, Lawrence.
Let me tell you something, Jen.
But Knight H5 played instead of Queen H5. What were you going to say, Lawrence?
Let me tell you something about my friend Sebastian Maze. When you've seen him lose as many consecutive hands at blackjack as I have, you fear nothing anymore in life, okay? You just do not. I've never seen a guy. I mean, the French guys, if you ever sit down and play a bit of blackjack with Maze or Fressinet, put your wallet in your pocket, because I've never seen so many 20s lose to 21s, and you know the dealer's showing a 5. It's just insane. It's just insane. So Mazetovic doesn't. Oh no, Knight F4, Rook G7. He missed it. No, he didn't. He saw it, or maybe he missed it. Oh no, what happened?
There's a lot to this position, you know. Now after. Maybe he was correct to not take the draw, because I thought those two pieces were going to swarm into King's position. But in fact, if those pieces are relatively insipid and the knight is fianchetto,
now you go F4 here with black.
Black could be doing okay.
Oh,
he's actually taken on E4.
He wants to go Rook C4 and Rook round to G4, which is why.
Good idea. That's why the Queen did not take on E4, and he played Queen H3 instead, but hitting the Rook on C8, of course.
So
Maze, you're saying he likes his blackjack.
Well, I'm saying he likes to certainly not win at it. That's one of his biggest hobbies. Shout out to the French boys, actually. The French boys, they've got a little thing going where they go to tournaments, you know, try and rip up the local blackjack dealers, come back either stinking rich or not stinking rich, basically. That's what the French boys
Well, there you go. Baby needs a new pair of shoes.
Exactly.
Maze's new daddy.
He is, again, for the second time. Shout out to Daddy.
Two-time dad.
I know.
Very nice. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Two-time champion.
I'm looking forward to you, Jen, becoming a two-time mum. You know, with all the experience. You know.
Yeah, I loved being pregnant. So.
Do you? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I enjoyed being pregnant more than being not pregnant.
Are you
not
serious?
Gonna lie. Yeah,
wow. I did. There you go. There you go, guys. All the guys and girls in chat, let's procreate and be happy. Let's go to another game.
Yes, let's do it, because I guess this one. What do you think is going to happen here, though? It's still really interesting with 8 seconds left on Elias's clock.
Nice.
I mean, after Rook C8, Queen C8, Queen E6 check, King F8.
Oh, Bishop E5.
Bishop takes E5.
He missed it, Maze.
Oh no, because you can't take because the Queen hangs.
Oh my God.
But White only has 13 seconds left on his clock.
But he's getting time, and it's really simple to just do.
But this is just dead now.
This is just
because
over.
Rook E7, Bishop takes D6.
He overpressed Maze.
Is there any way to keep this interesting, Lawrence? Any way to make the guy sweat a little?
No.
I don't think so, because the problem is not just that you lost that, but that you're also, Bishop takes a D6. At least he's finding some cover for his king on g8.
Queen e6 and bishop e5, and the moves just come so...
The moves come too easy, Lawrence, don't they?
Yeah,
and we're going to see an upset here with a
even knight h4 is interesting, but queen g8
the
is
new blockbuster dad.
Queen f7, and here, any old move, queen f4, and knight e3. Very nice. Very nice, Elias. Very nice. And yeah, Maze is not... I mean, Maze could survive this. We are talking about the one and only Mazetovic here. 11 seconds for Elias. Let's see if he converts this. He should convert this.
Oh, but maybe not. I mean, I don't think it's that easy unless he finds like some kind of mate or like simplified position.
Should be easy. Should be easy enough.
King e4 with this with the increment. You think it's easy enough? Knight e3 check.
Oh, he's getting a bit
back to d4.
Bit of cold feet. Don't repeat now.
We did this once.
Queen
we did this once. Don't repeat. Indeed.
Nice move. Queen f7, threatening queen somewhere. Mate. I guess Maze will now go queen c5. Is that what he's going to do? Maybe he's just going to go b3. He's just going for it. Imagine Maze wins this. Oh my goodness.
Well, if he wins it, it's certainly going to be time related.
Queen c3 check?
Obvious.
Has to go king e6.
Queen c3 check played.
King e6.
5 seconds left on the clock. King to e6, queen c4 check.
Ah, maybe he wants to win the pawn now by force on e4 and park the queen on b1. No, he's going to give a few more checks. He wants to just play some
moves, Lawrence, and build up a little more time. Because if he can do like a circle of checks and get to, 12 seconds, that would be a major win. But the problem with that idea is that you always have to watch out and make sure that you haven't gone into 3. And even fantastic chess players are not always the best at counting, are they?
No, they're certainly.
The queen's going to come to b1, though.
It really is. He's getting a bit more time on the clock.
But even then, like, you got to watch out for, like, queen b4, queen c3, queen coming to c1. I guess you always have knight c2, worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, just go queen b... Ah, queen g6 check! No!
Oh, my God!
He bungled it! I can't believe it!
Baby needs a new pair of shoes, Lawrence!
Never bet against Mazetovic.
And he's going to be a 3-time dad now because the pawn on b2 is going to make a queen.
Heartbreak. Absolute heartbreak.
Are you glad you stayed with that game, Lawrence?
Yeah, I'm glad.
And are you glad we didn't bet on that game?
I'm really glad we didn't bet on that game.
Wow, what a game.
I'm never betting with you again. I've decided.
Those cross checks are brutal, Lawrence.
Yeah, they are.
That was painful though. Okay, I mean, you can't even really blame White playing on the increment. Just got tricked.
Unbelievable.
By Maze.
Unbelievable. Okay, let's have a quick look at the scores on the doors. Where are we at? So the Stockholm Snowballs have pulled away against the London Towers, 3.5, 2.5. The Cannes Blockbusters beating the Turtles at the moment as well. That's quite a big result for the Cannes Blockbusters, 2.5, 1.5. Puffins have already overcome their 1-point deficit. And the Marseille Migraines are destroying the Mosquitoes 3-1. So we're on to round 2.
Yeah, we're in round 2. We've got lots of games in the heat of battle. We've got Michelangelo against Valentina, which is actually, shockingly enough, just a kind of regular endgame.
Yeah, it does look. And actually, Valentina's got a great position, should be said.
Yeah, those 2 rooks are very powerful. But I don't hate White's position either, because this last move, knight on a5, putting pressure on the queen side majority from Black's point of view.
Yeah.
So this seems relatively balanced, but we'll keep an eye on it.
Okay. I'm happy to do that. We've got Tokras against Raphael as well. We've got Mathieu Cornet playing against Shebinik. This is the Turtles against the Cannes Blockbusters.
Well, this one looks interesting with both players with very powerful minor pieces, Lawrence. The bishop on a2 is beautiful, and the knight on e3 is beautiful too.
Yeah.
Which one is more beautiful?
I would go for the knight. I prefer the knight here. Just because, like rook e2, if I go queen takes f4, what is White's move? I haven't worked it out yet. Like,
what's that? Sorry?
In this position, why can't I take on f4? I missed something.
On a3?
No, on f4. On f4.
Oh, on f4.
Maybe just rook f2. Is that his idea? That was his idea.
Rook f2?
Yeah, after queen takes f4, rook f2, and then f7 was hanging.
Yeah, there's too much on f7. And if you played queen a3, I guess we would have queen to d7. Perhaps, although that might fall to queen a3, queen c1 check. So maybe we would have to switch up the move order there and play bishop f7. But anyway, none of that actually happened because black played the more solid g6. Just trying to get some back rank space and covering the d7 square, which is a really crucial square. But I think white's going to start pushing the pawn now.
Yeah, but it's not that easy. I mean, c2's hanging as well. So I actually really like black's position. And the reason is because white's king is weaker. That is the main difference here. White king is more exposed, black king is safer. So with the knight so close to the king, I actually prefer black. But that's might be more of a stylistic thing, if anything. Where else have we got? So really, let's have a quick look at the standings again, just so we can get our heads around.
Let's take a look at the standings as we're reaching. So go ahead.
Yeah, so we've got here the snowballs and migraines on 4.5, the turtles and the blockbusters on 4. If the Puffins win today, Jen, then they get to 3.5. And if they win, they would be, well, they really need some help, right?
Well, one thing they don't want is they don't want to draw between the blockbusters and the turtles. So they're definitely rooting for that to be a decisive result.
Yes.
And I think it's probably better for the blockbusters to win so that if somehow they're in a tie, maybe I'm wrong about that. No, I think it's better for the turtles to win so that if they tie with the blockbusters,
they've got
suppose the blockbusters have
points.
4 and the puffin, if the blockbusters get to 4.5 and the puffins get to 4.5, then we'll win on the puffins will win on tiebreak potentially because of the better Super Saturdays. If you look at those game points, the puffins are ahead of the blockbusters despite having 1.5 less match points. That's a crazy statistic. And what it shows is that if there is a tie for that 4th or 5th place, the puffins will get it. So I think they're rooting for the turtles to win. And then of course they have to win in the last match against the mosquitoes and hope that the blockbusters doesn't win. That would be the winning strategy.
That would be huge. And if anybody's asking, well, what are these guys doing? You know, haven't they got anything better to do on a Wednesday evening? What are they playing for? Well, here is a breakdown of the prizes. 20,000 big ones up top, followed by 10,000 for second, and third 4,000, including some brilliant side prizes, including an all-star game of the tournament for $5,000 for playing a good game of chess. Unbelievable.
Plus and also very exciting. That was recently announced on the Super Saturday stream with Danny and Alexandra that the finals of the Pro Chess League, or the championship weekend rather, will be held live in San Francisco. So that's another potential highlight for the teams that qualify for that championship weekend. They will go to one of the best cities in America. Have you ever been to San Fran,
I have.
Lawrence?
Actually, Alcatraz specifically, got out last year. It was very cold and very wet in there, I tell you. I managed to break out, though. You know, I'm one of those famous people that managed to break out of Alcatraz and cross the river.
Well, we're lucky to have you back with us, Lawrence.
All right. Let's go back to the games. What we got? We're still on this Shebenik game. Are we going to go anywhere else? We've got King Luke against Nuki. We've got so many Grandmaster matchups today. It's quite insane.
Well, this is crunch time. This is the time. We've got Flavio playing against Leonardo, and actually it looks like really good position on the board for white. That game intrigues me.
The Flavio game?
Yeah. Great position on the board for white. I like white, but huge time advantage for Flavi.
Yeah, I mean...
7.5 minutes, and a really rich position, too, where the extra time could certainly come in handy. So I'm a little worried about the Turtles' time management in this game.
I do hear that Flavi's got a few Bitcoin under his belt, so...
Man, you're always talking up Flavi.
I've got to love my Flavi. I love Flavi.
Looking, underrated. For all of our female listeners, you're talking him up.
That's right.
We gotta get more girls watching.
I would be interested. Hands up in the chat, all our females watching. That'd be great to know if we've got a big.
Yes, let's hear about our women watching the Pro Chess League. Nice. We do have some great female players in the league.
We do.
We've got Valentina playing with us today. And then, of course, Ho Yifan playing later tonight for the Chess Bras. That's going to be exciting. I'm going to be tuning in for that. I'm a huge fan of Ho Yifan and really excited to see how she does.
Yeah, me too. In this game, I think Flavio is doing fine, though. Unless G4 is just winning, which it could be, of course. I think Flavio is doing fine, and he does go G4, Bishop E6. And now F5 is just begging to be played. Because if takes, well, let's put it on the board. Takes, and queen takes. Your queen is in an X-ray, but it's not so easy because we're attacking the bishop and we've got a check. So that's why he's not going F5 immediately. So can you prepare F5? Can you... What would I do here? Bishop H1! There we go. There's the preparation for F5, Jen.
That's not what you would do, but
I mean, I might do. Why not? It makes a lot of sense. Very logical move. Get the bishop out the way and prepare F5. Looks completely logical to me.
All right. Well, we have Bishop H1 on the board, and we have some ladies raising their hands in the chat. We've got Diagonal Lady. I really love that handle. And Aman Rambleton for the girls. We also have a request. Speaking of ladies, Martin Davini asks if we can check out Ina Agrest's game for the Snowballs. Ina Agrest, player/manager. So, of course, as a strong female player, she's taking on multiple roles. We're used to seeing women being such excellent multitaskers, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, absolutely.
For some reason, her game's not popping up. Maybe she's in between games right now. Because I think she might be in between games, but we will keep an eye on her.
We will keep an eye on it. Well, hold on a second. We've got Valentina playing at least, so we've got one. I can't see. Anyway, we will keep an eye on these matches. Should we go back to MVL? See what MVL's on? Wow, he's played the old Schlechter variation of the French defense. That's 3 Bishop D3. Have you ever played that, Jen?
Wait, where are you right now? You're at you're looking at MVL's new game?
No, yes, I'm looking at MVL versus
Okay,
Elias.
I got that open now. Thank you.
Now,
thank you.
Elias will be heartbroken from not converting against Mazet, and now he's got to play black against MVL.
Brutal.
Now this line here, Bishop D3, is a tricky line specifically for what happened. This is all a theory lesson for all of you guys out there. Bishop D3, not one of your standard moves against the French. D4, Bishop E4, Knight F6, Bishop F3, C5, all fairly standard stuff, attacking the center, Knight E2, Knight C6. And now after Bishop E3, the point is that after Knight D5, you can just take this guy off on D5. Queen takes D5 and Knight BC3. And if you take on G2, which is a perfectly legitimate move, after Rook to G1, Queen takes H2, and now a move like Bishop F4, the Queen will go somewhere, but suddenly you run into a nasty Knight B5, and this is one of the main traps of the entire opening. So, unfortunately, this is now Queen H5, and Knight B5 anyway by MVL, and suddenly, oops, how do you defend against Knight C7 check? You've got to go Rook B8, you can throw in a check, you can take on C5 first, you can do absolutely anything. Black is not surviving against MVL in this position, I promise you that. So a nasty little opening trap, which is so dangerous at shorter time controls.
Absolutely. Interesting indeed. So we'll have to keep an eye on that game as we see if Elias can recover. You know, that's one of the hardest things psychologically, to lose a game like that and then just get back in there. But unlike poker, I actually believe it's a little easier in chess because there's no dead time. You're forced to like look at the position in front of you. Whereas in poker, you know, you're like, sometimes you're just like folding a hand and watching the action. It gives you maximum stew time. I think here, actually, the fact that you just got to play another game right away, it's almost good, but it's not good that it's against MVL. That's never good news. Lose a game like that, and then it's like, hello, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave.
Did you win a tournament recently, Jen? Is that correct?
I won a charity tournament for kids with cancer. So
Very
it was
nice.
it was a good cause, just in my local casino, small event. But I like playing those charity tournaments. It's nice vibe.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And
Okay,
it's nice that there's
D5.
poker going on right in Philadelphia. So
Is that the sugar hut?
the
Or
Sugar House, yeah, and
the
then
sugar
there's
house,
there's
right.
online poker coming to PA soon with Poker Stars. So yeah, it's really
Wow.
it's good that being a mom, I'm able to still play in the area. Although I've got a lot of travel coming up, so that's exciting too.
Okay, cool.
And D5 just played in this
Yeah,
game with
D5
Maxime
is really interesting.
Vachier-Lagrave. Pawn takes D5 because
No.
Queen D5 would have forced just lose a queen to Knight C7 check.
Yeah, and the question is, do you take on D5 with the queen here, or do you play a move like Bishop F4, which also probably just wins immediately?
Bishop F4 was the choice. Attacking the rook on B8. Yikes.
Yeah.
You can't save it because rook A8 just Knight C7 check.
Yeah, rook A8, Knight C7 check, and you're going to castle, which is what he's done. You're going to take on B8, Knight takes B8, and here any old move will be good. Knight F4 probably by MVL here. And he does
you've got a pawn for your trouble, but
D5's hanging, A7's hanging, exchange down. You're just not holding this against MVL in your wildest dreams.
So we've been talking about how important it is for the Puffins to win their match today in order to stay alive in the playoff race, in the race for playoff spots. B-Man, though, is not doing well against Christian Bauer of the Lions right now. He's really under the gun with, I think he's just going to get steamrolled by Bauer's pawns in this position. So that's bad news for the Penguins.
Which, by the way...
The Puffins.
Sorry, this is the biggest irony of Bauer actually means pawn, right? In German.
Does it? Wow, I didn't know that.
Somebody correct me. I'm going to get absolutely killed in the chat. Given that I've basically been living in Germany for 4 years. I'm pretty sure Bauer means pawns. And Christian Bauer is using his pawns, hence the irony, Bauer, 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 Bauer. Bauer, 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 Bauer. So, Bauer, Christian's such a good player. Have I mentioned this?
I don't think you've sung his praises yet, actually.
I've sung his praises before. Actually, it's what I do.
Maybe not on the show with me, but because I know the Lions are looking for love, and you're giving some love to Christian Bauer here, who is doing well right now.
Yeah, he's got.
Looks like he's going to do the job against the B-Man.
Well, the B-Man, Braggy. I've played Braggy. He's very dangerous. But in this position, no counterplay, pawn down, I mean, I guess he's just,
So let's look at another game with a Penguin. This one with a Puffin. This one looks a lot better. Yartson against Andy Horton. Johan, it looks like we've talked a lot about opposite colored bishops in the middle game, and how the opposite colors accentuate the attack. And this is certainly one example of that. Look at that beautiful bishop on e5, Lawrence, whereas the bishop on c6 is blunted by the pawn on f3. In addition to all that, the rook on b6 is so beautifully placed compared to the inept rook on c8. So looks like the Johan is going to have good chances to win, while we see that Christian is also winning. So that's going to make the match close.
Yeah, I mean, but Andy he's a stubborn kid, and it's not that easy to make that a final penetration into the black position, because you want to get this rook into, if you get this rook on the 7th, that's the dream. How do you get there? So a4 is a really good move, fixing that pawn on a light square. Now everything's covered. So is it so easy for white? It doesn't look that easy at all for me.
Meanwhile, we've got not easy, but it just seems easy to play. So it's not like the game's over, but for me, I'd predict a win. Meanwhile, Olafsson, it looks like it's a dead draw against Marcus Harvey, so that game's going to be over soon. So there's one Puffin that I haven't mentioned yet. Just kind of trying to really keep a close eye on this match, just because of the stakes being so high.
Mention that Puffin.
Who is that Puffin? I'm trying to see. Yeah, I was trying to ask you who I'm missing.
You were asking me.
I think I saw. I'm seeing so many other interesting games as I look for the final Puffin, but it would be the one that would be the last. No, not Kjartansson. We looked at Olafsson. I don't think we saw Stefansson's game, did we?
Right.
Yeah,
no, we
Stefansson.
haven't.
Yes.
So where is he?
Yeah.
He's playing against. Looking down the list here. Can't find his. Do you know who he's playing against?
He should be playing against. This is the second round for them, I think. Marcus Harvey. Did you look at that game yet?
That's Olafsson.
Oh, right. He was one who was replaced. Okay.
Yeah, and that's just ending a draw, so we can get rid of that. We will locate that game soon. The Puffins, by the way, national treasure of Iceland. When you go into little gift shops, there are puffins everywhere. They love their puffins, protected species. I didn't actually get to see any puffins. Bit disappointed, if you ask me. Went to Reykjavik, commentate every week on the puffins, didn't see any puffins. What's that about? Pretty disappointed.
You had to come back to see the Puffins.
We have to come back, because the other thing you go there for, you know what you go there for, Jen? Have you ever been to Reykjavik?
I have.
You have, yeah? Did you see the Northern Lights?
I didn't, no.
Those are the big ones. So the Northern Lights, beautiful green Aurora Borealis, whatever it's called. And it was cloudy. Didn't see them. So we have to go back. We got they do a really nice thing of rebooking you. So I will be back.
The guy we're missing was David Kjartansson, and he goes under the handle Yuono. Yuono, that's a great handle. But his position is not so great. It looks like he's going to lose either on the clock or in the position against Edward Porper of the Lions, which I believe will make this match extremely close. So, wow, like the Puffins and the Lions, we're going to have to keep a real close eye on this one, because it could be down to the wire. I think that this is going to bring the match maybe to an even score.
Could very well do, yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that.
Should we check in with the London teams? It feels like we've ignored this, because this Towers versus Snowballs match is still quite an interesting. It's quite a relevant match still, right? Because you know, if the Towers manage to cause an upset against the Snowballs, well, the Snowballs are effectively out, aren't they? Let's check the standings again. The Snowballs, no, they're not effectively out, but this could go sour for them. If the Snowballs lose this week, this could go bad, because they're on 4.5. The Migraines already have a very good position in their match. And then, you know, depending on what happens in the Turtles versus Blockbusters, they could kind of be down in third place in a worst case scenario. And then they would be a tiny bit nervous going into the final weekend. So let's check out Towers versus Snowballs. Let's go to none other than Pubel, which is Sue Muroa, playing against Grandmaster Andre Diamante. And
I got that game open as well.
This looks like it's probably, well, it's not that clear. I guess I prefer black because this queen is a bit out of shape here on e5. Bishop f6 is coming. So we'll keep an eye on that. We've also got Thomas Rendell playing as Inner Agrest. Thomas is worse, it looks like, or at least not doing that great against Inner with white in this position. Shattered pawns. Bishop's going to come to b7. Beautiful diagonal for the bishop. So I don't really like Thomas's position that much. But then again, I never have done, as Thomas will tell you. And then we've got one or two more games here of the... We've got Georg Meyer, of course. Georg Meyer playing against Roman Yanchenko, who I have to say I don't know Roman at all. He's rated 24-36 though, so they've brought in a serious player here. Roman playing black against Georg Meyer in this game. What's going on here?
Well, he's got a big time advantage. That's a good start.
Huge time advantage.
Rook A1 played just now by George Meyer. Bishop B4 quickly by Yanchenko, keeping that big time edge. Idea being that you're holding on to B5 and B4.
Yeah, you're just holding on the queen side. I'm not sure black has got any active plans here, though. That's the only concern.
Right. Like we can't even play something like Queen B7 with the idea of takes on I4 because there's that battery on the F1A6 diagonal.
So the problem is black is basically stuck here, right? Black can't do anything. Whereas, so the question is white gonna, well, he's gone Queen C6, is white gonna go like King H2 and try and angle for a G4 break with Rook G1?
Oh, wow, that's creative, Lawrence. I like that. That's a great idea. You know, I mean, when the pieces are away, you know, you go and play.
The cats will play. Yeah.
King H2, G4. I mean, it's a very creative idea, but with all of those black pieces over there huddled on the queen side, kind of awkwardly, this is really seems like a brilliant plan.
Well, it might be complete garbage as well.
But
who knows?
luckily, we're just commentating. So
yeah, we don't lose the games
if it doesn't work.
That's the whole point. We don't lose the games. We don't mind. You know. So King H2, Rook G1, G4. Also, the king is now off this long diagonal. Not like this bishop is moving anywhere. But... So what are you going to give me for you're playing King H2 in the next sort of 3 moves?
Oh, God, no.
Two boxes of chocolate
for your sushi. You have to like.
Do you know what?
Sushi.
Can I be honest with you guys? Everybody, it's 9:45. I've not eaten a bean pretty much all day because I've been busy all day, and the sushi is just staring at me. I've got a wonderful sort of California roll and chicken, and it's looking at me deep in the eyes, and I will be ravishing it after this commentary. So
right after this, I'm gonna dress my little son up as a Cookie Monster and take him to a Purim party.
A Purim party, beautiful,
monster.
Wonderful.
He's gonna be the Cookie Monster.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Does he get to carry cookies with him?
He likes cookies. He's like his mommy. He likes the sweets.
Does he know who the Cookie Monster is?
Not yet, but he will when he gets dressed as one.
We love the. Can you do a Cookie Monster impression? Cookie.
I can't be that. He is.
I used to love the Cookie Monster.
And I'm checking out Sebastian Maze's game against Jay Lopez, and it looks like he's just punishing strategically here, Lawrence. He's got every piece in a perfect position. The knight on d4, outpost knight, rook on a7 on the 7th. You can't beat white's position here. So Sebastian Maze is going to win this game as well.
He might do. It's not. Is it totally over? I mean, okay. So like the rooks come off, and maybe he can just go king takes b3. But then queen f8. Hold on. Is it so over? There are some small chances of Jazzle getting some counterplay here. Small chances, but I do agree that I do like this pony here on d4.
Yeah, it's a classic example of an outpost knight, right?
Yeah. It's
and then the rook on a7 in addition to that just seems like it's too powerful.
Maybe
we've got an important matchup between Gazzoli and Loek Van Wely, which is really even more than a matchup between the migraines and the mosquitoes. It's a matchup between the knights versus the bishops, right? You have the two knights versus the two bishops, and usually we gotta love the two bishops. What do you think here, Lawrence? Is this a case in point?
Well, this is a really interesting position where it's one of the exceptions to the rule, I think, where it's an open game. There are a lot of open diagonals, which usually favours the two bishops, but actually black has got a stunning outpost for this knight here on d5, which is immovable. You cannot remove this knight if black ever wants. And also some other outposts in the game. So it's one of those where, because of the static pawn structure, despite it being a very open position, I actually quite like black here. And in fact, black has got his ponies on very interesting squares here. Knight c4 just played, and now the problem is there are always checks lurking, you know. The problem with knights is, especially when you play blitz, Luke's down to 4 minutes, knights are a nightmare to play against. There's always a check or a backward move that you miss. And now actually the a3 pawn is on pre. Was rook d3 just a stinker? Rook d3 just looks like a stinker to me. What is Rook d3?
That knight getting to c4 just looks...
I mean, how can you allow knight c4? I mean, honestly, Luke, you disgust me. I'm going to message him as we speak. I'm going to call him. Right? I'm going to message him right now. How dare you play rook? No, I'm not going to do that. Me and Lukey, we have a bit of banter between us.
Well, somebody was requesting earlier in the chat that we check in on Ina Agres game. So let's give that wish now against Thomas Rendell of the Towers.
Yeah, we did look at this briefly, and I like Ina's position.
And you still like it?
Well, maybe not.
I mean, I feel like I would take white, but there's some, I mean, black is up a pawn technically. I know it's those double A pawns, but black does have an extra pawn, extra cookie.
An extra cookie. I mean, with white, the first move you look at here is e5, right? Because you want to break open this diagonal. So,
you want to look at e5? Is that what you said?
Yeah, you look at e5 first here with white. You just don't worry about, or you play it uber safe and you put the pawn on a3 just to put that on a dark square and stop these guys. But then you give black the chance to play d6, and then there's no e5. So Thomas has got to make a red pill or blue pill decision here. With the red pill, he goes all in, sacrifices the pawn on a2 and tries to checkmate Ina. And with the blue pill, he goes a3 and lives his standard kind of mundane daily. You remember that scene in the Matrix? You either go all in. Was it the red pill? I can't remember which pill. Do you remember the pill, Jen? If it was the red one, you go on the journey, and if it's a blue pill, you stay in this fake world that we live in.
Let's take the red pill, Lawrence.
Was it the red one? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's got to be the red one. I mean, come on. How could it not be red, Lawrence? Red is the best color.
You love red. Every time I've ever bet on red, I've lost, by the way. I never won. Anyway, that's another story. D6.
Bet on black. Don't you know the rule?
What do you have to do? Bet on black always?
Yeah. Take the red pill and bet on black.
Okay, right. I'll remember that.
I've never played roulette in my life.
No?
No, not once.
Maybe, goodness.
Maybe once, but I can't even remember it. Like
roulette's so much fun. It's not.
Yeah, no.
It's really not. No. It's horrible.
It's not a game of skill, Lawrence.
It's really, well, it is actually. It is a game of skill. If you can win at it, it's a game of skill. Okay, so what have we got going on in another game? So is Chess...
Ooh, Maze looks like he's just about done the job with this sweet little move, knight e6. That's probably going to force resignation. He's threatening mate on g7. And if you take it, it's mate on g7 anyway. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah,
this is one for the tactics books. The only move to stop mate would be queen f8, which of course just loses the queen.
Hold on, I've lost the position here. Where are we?
And there it is. Maze actually has won by his resignation. With a pretty final move.
Yeah.
And indeed, everybody is confirming that it is the red pill.
The red pill, okay.
You got to take the red pill.
Oh, you got to take the red pill. What about Chess Flav? Does Chess Flav take any pills? Because he's playing white here. What's he doing? Is he taking pills during the game? What's his horse doing on h2?
What's the pony doing on h2? No, I mean, caffeine. You know, there was that study by FIDE showing that caffeine and certain pills enhance your chess performance. And it's funny because it feels like, you know, you didn't need to do a study to show you that, like, you'd play a little bit better with a couple of cappuccinos, right, Lawrence?
I mean, like,
chess players kind of just know that, right?
I mean, people got paid for this study, right? Have a cappuccino and you might play better? Come on. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. What do these people employ? I don't get it. Anyway, Chess Flav, he did bring the horse back from h2 to f3, which is good. So who do you like here, Jen?
Between Flavio and, well, I like black.
Yeah, I think black.
Because the knight on f3 looks awkward. You know, when you're playing these type of closed Sicilian positions, I would expect that by this point, I would, you know, have more going on for myself, you know? Perhaps a mortgage, a steady career. You know, no, white's kind of backwards here, Lawrence. Nothing's going on.
Oh, I can tell you, Flav's got a steady career. And my word, has he got a good mortgage. Woo! I don't even think he's got a mortgage. He didn't even need one. That's how Flav rolls. He's a high
All
roller.
right. Well, I was making a metaphor about the position, but of course, any opportunity you have to talk Flavia up, but unfortunately, I don't think you can talk his position up right now. I mean, it's certainly not losing, but I just like Black's game, and I play the Sicilian. It's normal that in the closed Sicilian, when you play against it, you get a little bit of, you have to deal with some annoyances on the king side, and what bothers me is that Black has all the nice positional trumps of Sicilian, but none of the negatives.
Yeah, he's got this beautiful bishop here on g7. What's his pawn doing here on g4? Nobody knows. You're right, Black is just much better here. So it's just a case of how is Šebenik, gonna play against this. But Flavio, never underestimate Flavio. He is a killer. He is a killer. He gets what he wants, and he's regardless of the end of this game, he's gonna have a smile on his face come the end of the day. I bet you. All right, let's move to another game.
We got some great comments in the chat, by the way. Anna Rudolph had joined us earlier. Okay. So we always love to hear from her. She's got like a new Twitch emoji, so that's nice to see.
What? She got her own emoji?
Yeah.
I think you've made it when you finally get your own emoji.
It's the one with like the big hat. I love it.
Wow. I thought.
Yeah, I wish I had that hat. Maybe I'd wear it for the porn party. I'm not going as anything. I'm going as somebody who was just on a stream because I need to run out.
There we go.
But somebody else asked, who's the best of Trent and Shahade? And I like these answers. One person says, ATC Foss says, Trent is the better player, Jen is the better person.
That, by the way, if I could like have that on my tombstone, I'd be happy with that. That is absolutely unquestionable. Well, I say unquestionable. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I would guess that. Yeah, I would say that's fair. I would say that's fair. Any other slanders against my character?
No, then BY N-Dog says they're both amazing.
Thanks, BY Dog. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
We
do love you all.
I'm mostly looking, today I'm mostly looking at the Twitch chat, but I should open up the Chess.com chat as well to give a shout out to you guys as well.
And if you want to follow me on Twitch, because I'm doing a lot of stuff now, I'm going to quickly plug myself. I think I deserve it after not eating and doing hours worth of commentary. Subscribe to the channel, twitch.tv/Trentos. We've got a bunch, Trentosk, that's Trentosk, bunch of new subscribers, building the army. I think that's all the allotted time I've got to plug my own channel. Please go there though, subscribe, follow, do what you got to do. We play a lot of chess and a lot on Chess.com. Big shout out also to Chess.com, of course, without whom this would not be possible. Big shout out to the Shahade family, Jen, and also her brother, the brains behind the revamp of the Pro Chess League. And shout out to my boy Danny Wrench as well, who will be watching.
Yeah, a lot of love on Chess.com, and we've got a link to your stream. I've been seeing some links to your channel actually, Lauren.
There we go.
So don't worry, our mods got you. Lubot is linking to your channel. Beautiful. And Chess Bay actually is
shout out to hold on 1 second. Special mention to Chess Bay. She is one of the on a serious note, she is single-handedly propping up the chess community via her extremely grateful donations and support. She's donated thousands upon thousands of dollars, and has always been around supporting streamers and the community. So Chess Bay, my heartfelt thanks to what you've done so far. Really appreciate it. So, all right, we've had enough of Flavio Perez. I've had a lifetime of hearing about this guy. Should we move on to somebody else? Let's go to another game. Let's go to...
how about George Meyer versus Yanchenko? We were looking at that game earlier, and we were saying that maybe White would eventually play King H2, G4, some outlandish plan. Doesn't look like that happened, Lawrence. But Black is just kind of shuffling around, and it looks like White has managed to reposition himself so that the bishop is in front of the queen. Maybe at some point he's going to get to play b5. It almost looks like a similar position to what we.
I mean, what have they been doing for the past 20 minutes? Having a cup of coffee and chit-chatting about the recent Meghan Markle engagement ring? What is this? Is this chess? Are these men? Are these guys battling, or are they fiddling around with their bishops? This is the bloody same position that we saw 20 minutes ago. Come on, man, get up there. King h2, g4, take on h5, checkmate the bloke. How difficult can it be? Sub me in, put me in, coach. Sorry, went off on one there, Jen.
I like your rendition there, but as we know, with the women's world champion player later tonight, you don't need to be a man to play chess like you're on Shahade, right? And I think, though, this is part of George Meyer's strategy. He plays it, maneuvering, and then he gets you. And look at how Rook C2 was just played. He's pushed the queen back to B7. Is he going to figure out a way, maybe queen back to F1, queen C1, get the rook in there?
Oh, this is
H2. Maybe he's going to switch to her plan of playing G4 and H5.
Newsflash, only 30 moves too late, mate. You could have got this game over and won, 20 moves ago. Well, people, Georg May, he's so risk averse. I'm only joking. I love Georg. I'm just winding him up. I'll see him in a few weeks. So here we go. Let's go to. Come on, Georg. Rook C1. Now we're talking G4. G takes H5. Checkmate the guy. Is he going to do it, Jen?
I think he might, Lawrence. He might go for your plan. He might go for your plan of playing for G4 and Rook G1. I mean, you say that George Meyer never goes for mate, but maybe we're going to see it happen.
Oh, the king on H3. Oh, maybe he wants to take back on G4 with the king.
And he's played Rook G1. Now it's obvious that he's going for G4, Lawrence.
That's true.
What else could he be going for?
Could be going for a smoke, going for a coffee, going for a bit of sushi. I don't know what he's going for. Actually, he's not.
We got to keep talking about food, Lawrence, just to max torture you.
Oh my
G4
God.
has been played. There we go.
I knew it.
G4, Rook takes G4. Now, H5 on the mind.
Mind, body, and soul.
Or potentially things like Bishop G6 and Queen D3. Of course, Queen E8 hangs on. And takes on B3, sacrificing a piece for the incredibly powerful duo A4 and B3.
No, does that work?
This is getting even more exciting, Lawrence.
H5.
A3 coming.
H5, go. They're only queens. Queens don't mean a thing if your king is in checkmate. H5, let's go, buddy.
Okay, so H5. What about G5, Lawrence? Shut it down.
Shut him down.
H5, G5.
Nah.
What if White is doing badly here after H5, G5?
H6 check.
Okay, but it didn't happen, Lawrence. George Meyer decided not to play H5.
Goodness
he played King G2. But what's the idea after we just play like A3?
I don't know. He went Rook H8.
I guess in that case, he was going to play G5.
I don't know. I don't get it.
I mean H5. So Rook H8 is a timeout move. He wants to play stop H5. Bishop B5 played.
Yeah, safe and sound. Because now you can't stop.
You're gonna win
A4.
You're gonna win at A4. That's bad. That's a real big problem, right, Lawrence?
I think it's a huge problem.
Yeah, Bishop B5 just looks great now. So maybe Rook H8 was not the best. Maybe there was some other way to make it more interesting.
Maybe it's not so easy. Let's say I go Queen B7. Bishop
Queen
takes
B7,
A4.
Bishop A4.
And now let's say I play something a bit funky. Do you like funk? Let's just go Rook takes H4. I mean, how easy is that to win? Is that so easy? Oh, not Rook H5, Rook H4. Takes. Okay, you can win this guy on B3, but maybe it is just really easy. Maybe I'm just being a bit silly. Georg's going to win. He wins these positions. He just wins these positions. I didn't like Rook H8 at all. I think you did have to meet H5 with G5. I think you had to get going with those pawns.
And we had some breaking news from Greg Shahade. There was a London Lions player who was not logged in, and we've given a forfeit win to Reykjavik for round 3. I'm not sure which game that was. We'll find out. But
really?
That's huge.
That's a huge win.
Incredibly important for.
Of course it is.
So let's take a look at the games. Bragi, the B-man playing against Marcus Harvey. All of these games are so critical.
Wow.
We've mentioned it before, but we have to reiterate for anyone just logging in. The Puffins must win. They must win. in
They
order
must
to
win.
keep their chances alive.
I don't know if I've told you anything about Reykjavik since I've been on air, Jen. Should I?
Not for the last 10 minutes,
Okay,
so
right.
we're missing it. We're missing the stories.
They have a great waterfall. If you ever go to Reykjavik, you've got to go slightly inwards because Reykjavik is on the coast. You've got to go into the island of Iceland. It's called Gulfoss, Gulfoss. Absolutely stunning. It's a huge waterfall, and you get to see it's picturesque, and it's the biggest waterfall I've ever seen live, and you get to watch the water trickle down the side of a rock, and they call that a waterfall, and it's beautiful.
Biggest waterfall you've ever seen? Don't tell that to any of the other waterfalls, okay?
Yeah, I won't. They'll get jealous. They will get jealous.
But speaking of the Puffins, we've got all these games kind of in the midpoint. We've got Christian Bauer against the OG Helgi Olafsson. We've got Hjartarson against Edward Porper. So we'll keep an eye on those as they get closer to time pressure. But boy, that's a real gift for the Puffins that they were able to get that point, because this match really couldn't be closer, and it couldn't be more important. Right now, 3.5 for the Puffins and 3.5 for the Lions.
Big match.
The reason it's not adding up to 8 is because the Puffins had that deficit from the late lineup change, which was completely out of their control, unfortunately. And yeah, this is a huge point, Lawrence.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's the bottom board, because that's the game that we didn't see.
Yeah, we're gonna wait for
it must be the game with
we're gonna wait for
Chartson or something. Yeah, must be that game.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, you've got to be in. Anyway, this game here, Braggy against Marcus Harvey, it's quite an interesting position. I actually like black a lot more than white somehow, because the black rooks are nicely posted. Here, there are all kinds of stuff going on here. I think white's attack is this knight on a4 is a bit offside, so I actually quite like Marcus's position here somehow. But it's one of those positions that's really not easy to play. Rook e4, okay, that's a start. Pushing back the queen to d2, I guess, or d3. And then does he want to go like g5? Is that his idea? Does he want to deliver checkmate down here on h2? Maybe. Very, very, very interesting position. No, just goes knight b6. Also very logical, because now knight c4 is the threat. And if you take on b6, bishop takes b6, now you've got real pressure. I like black. I think black's doing well here. This would be a big win for Marcus Harvey, by the way. This would be a huge win if he were to... the Puffins have, they've got a big task in front of them here. It's going to be this one, I'm calling it now. This one is going to the wire. This one is going to the wire. All right, where else can we go? Wow, we've got a huge game that's popped up in my little list here. We've got Mazet for the Marseille Migraines against Loek Van Wely. This is a 2600 Super Grandmaster clash.
Amazing. Yeah, this makes sense, though. The reason this is happening is because of the lopsided nature of the Blockbusters team. So they're able to have these weird matchups with their board 2 being 2600 plus, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That happens because of both the rating cap, which makes it so that not the special rules for elite players, that they don't count as their actual rating, right?
Yeah.
That's why Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, you get a little bonus for having him in your squad.
Right.
And then on top of that, their bottom board is a lot lower rated. But anyway, we're in for a treat. It's a topical Sicilian. And Loek Van Wely, you were singing his praises in the Sicilians earlier. So who do you like in this game? Who's playing better today?
Mazet has never played good chess in his life, so I'll go for Loek Van Wely. No, I'm joking. I'm just joking. Mazo, if you're listening, you're not listening, you're playing. But if you are listening somehow to the stream, see you on the felt, my sir. See you on the felt next time. I like Luke's position. Look at this. He's got a knight on g6. It's already coming to h4. What is this pawn doing on g4? If that was on g3, if he could play a move here, white would play pawn from g4 to g3. that would be white's move of choice. But pawns
And this was
can't
the
go
point
back.
of Loek Van Wely's idea of
Yeah.
playing knight e7 to g6.
I like it. Rook g1. Look at this nonsense. Now after knight h4, he wants to go bishop h1. Can you believe it?
Well, we don't have to play knight h4. We can just leave that knight on g6.
Can do.
Yeah, and just develop our pieces, right? Bishop e7.
Yeah, it makes sense. But maybe he's going to go queen h4 or something crazy. I don't know.
Maybe, or maybe white's now trying to arrange the right moment to play f4 now that h4 is kind of shut down.
Maybe he's going to go even super. I don't know. Maybe I would just go knight h4 here. Why not?
Maybe bishop d7, just so that you leave the h4 square open for the queen.
Bishop
I just want to
d7.
continue to my development.
Yeah.
I kind of like black. I'm feeling Van Wely's treatment of this opening, as you predicted, the Sicilian maestro of the Sicilian. And let's see, what else do we have going on? We've got Vanina, Valentina, yes, Vanina89 on Chess.com, and it just looks like something bad happened in her position. There's a little tactic, and it seems like her opponent,
this is a
Lucas
huge upset
of the Turtles, has just found a sweet tactic to queen his pawn. Do you want to show us that?
Yeah, wait a second.
Move over there.
How did that work?
I just stepped in when we saw this
E2,
phenomenal move.
G4, B3, Rook H7, and Rook E2 check. She didn't miss that. Come on. Oh
that's
my
sweet,
God.
Lawrence. That's sweet.
Oh my God. What an upset.
So now after king e2, b2, and the king stops the white rook from giving any checks or getting behind the pawn. And,
wow.
And this is going to be a queen versus a rook. Can white make some
This
kind
is
of fortress?
probably a draw. Because
will she be able to make a draw here, Lawrence? She does have 8 minutes to Luca's 1.5 minutes.
I mean, maybe it's not that easy to make a draw. I don't know. Let's stay with this because this is really curious.
And of course, it's also, we were talking about how both of these teams, there is a chance, especially for the blockbusters with their dismal tie breaks, there's a chance they could be left out of the party. So they shouldn't count their chickens just yet. The blockbusters came into the round with 5-3 lead. But the Turtles, they win this game. They're narrowing that lead.
This would be a huge upset, wouldn't it?
It's hugely important, especially because I think we pointed out earlier that Flavio is not doing well against his turtle, Raphael, who he's playing right now.
Yeah,
so
he's in big trouble there, by the way.
Yeah.
And this game,
so that would be another win. That would be another potential win for the Turtles. So this match is really going to the wire.
Wow. This is going to be really interesting. Is Luca going to be able to convert this? Valentina was 7 minutes on the clock. What is the winning plan here, Jen? Is there a winning plan? I mean, I feel like I want to get my king in, right? If I get my king in, like here, instead of king e6, I think what I would have done is played a move like, well, okay, king e6 is okay. Waiting it out.
I think that she's going to win just because even though...
She's white.
I'm sorry, I meant he's going to win. I think he's going to win because I think it's difficult, like all these checks, even with just 2 minutes on the clock, does it really matter that much when you have the queen and you can kind of make your moves pretty quickly? But we'll see. Notoriously, it's difficult for humans to defend against the queen because you miss one little sneaky check and you're gone. On the other hand, 5-minute differential, it's really close. We'll have to keep a close eye on it. But there's so many important games going on right now.
Where else should we go?
I was looking at an interesting one in the Puffins camp with Yarderson against Porper of the Lions. I really love Black's position here. Like those knights are on fire. The knight on c3 and the knight coming to d5.
I've got to find that
pawn potentially coming to f4. Yeah. Knight to d5 actually stops you.
Almost wins the queen, but not quite. But queen can come back. No, knight.
But it's white's move here. It's white's move, but I'm saying knight d5 is a threat.
But knight d7. Knight d7, queen c6 check. Right. This is why he can't go knight
Oh, right. Good
d7,
point.
queen
Yeah.
c6 check.
So knight d5, the idea is you move the queen, then we play rook takes c5. We get 2 knights for the rook and monster knights left in the position. Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely want to dress up as those ponies for Purim.
Have you ever dressed up as a pony, Jen?
No, not yet. But
still time.
maybe I will after this game is done. Knight
f3, knight d5 played.
Knight f3 because he didn't want to allow knight d5 winning those 2 ponies.
This is so gross.
Knight d5, queen h6 is not been played yet. I don't know if he'll play that or will he try to go
whatever he's doing
with queen g5.
Yeah, I guess he's going to go queen g5 actually, but then he's gonna.
But either way, you're going to lose something on e2 at some point, right?
Yeah, because if queen d2 also, you're just going to get rolled over. Knight e4, queen has to go somewhere passive, and then f4 at some point. Maybe not here exactly, but you're gonna try and break out. This position is just junk for white, absolute junk. So you played queen g5, b6. That's a bit too solid for my liking. What's that all about? He's just saying, well, actually, e2 drops by force, and I'm going to really have an easy convert.
Makes sense. I mean, black looks dominant here. Yeah. Meanwhile, just a little recap on what's going on in the matches.
Yes.
Most of them are incredibly close, Lawrence, but one of them is not. The Mosquitoes are getting absolutely slaughtered today against the Migraines.
They really are.
Should we have a look at that match is like an absolute blowout. So the real crucial, in fact, the Migraines are close to clinching the match.
Yeah, here's
1.5 to 6.5. Brutal.
Yeah, I'm actually got the individual scores up on the screen here, guys.
Okay, you got the scores up on the screen?
Yeah, the individual ones. See if that. Oh, that has put it out of sync. Apologies for this, guys. Let me just put that back there. The big winners being so far Gawain Jones on 2.5 points on board 1 for the Towers. Georg Meyer on 2 out of 2 for the Puffins, for the Snowballs, I should say. And MBL on 2 out of 2 for the Migraines. Sebastian Mazet also on 100% through a bit of good fortune for not losing the first game. You've also got Maxime Lagrave doing a good job for the Cannes Blockbusters on board 2. And on the other boards, you know, the board 4s are struggling, but they always tend to struggle, of course, because they play the top players of the opposing team in the first rounds. Marcus Harvey's managed to get a full point. He's leading the board 4 scores as we speak. So a couple of good performances going, and Georg Meyer certainly up there. Going back to the chess, this game is still gross for white. Absolutely disgusting. This knight on g1. Passive, passive, passive. No breaks, no counterplay. This is just one of those, do I defend or do I not? Certainly Edward is not looking for a win here. MBL has restarted his game, should be pointed out. MBL has... Actually, Georg Meyer did only draw against Yanchenko. What? No. Meyer only drew that against Yanchenko. Should we quickly go there, Jen? Because
yeah,
I
sure.
told you
by the way, the game between Valentina and Luca was a draw.
What did he do?
Once the rook found its way back to e4, nice fortress type position.
Hold on. Georg Meyer was a whole piece up. What did he do?
Yeah, but weren't those pawns, right?
No,
Last
but he was a whole piece up.
There was some counterplay.
No. He got rid of those pawns.
Okay, let's take a look.
And he just fell for some rook h1 idea and some tactic with bishop h4, and he was gonna get made it or lose. He just completely messed it up. Had to give back the exchange, and then was just fighting an exchange down. So from being a piece up, he was an exchange down, and somehow hung on. Somehow hung on here. Incredible. So a save there from Georg Meyer, but my goodness, he'll be annoyed not to have won that.
Wow. Speaking of potential saves, I'm not sure Flavio is going to lose, just because he's got 3 minutes to the 10 seconds of Mate Sebenik of the Turtles.
Let me tell you, Flavio never loses. Even if he loses, he's never lost. C3, so What is he? I would be going king d3 here, like all the time. And he does that. And the point is, if rook f2, well, now you take on c3. Now you just take on c3. Just take it. Rook takes c3, rook takes g5. And this probably is a draw.
Yeah, and considering the time situation, it makes it even more likely to be a draw. So let's move on to some more sizzling games, such as the game between Sebastian Maze and King Loek. That thrilling Sicilian, where we like the way Luke's position seemed early on, but now I'm not feeling it as much as it seems that Sebastian's castle queenside, and he's ready to get his own party started. And his counterplay looks very dangerous, Lance, with the pawn on e4 being very well protected. The nice thing about that bishop on h1 is that normally black in the Sicilian gets this counterplay with moves like d5. Now that bishop really stops those ideas. So I'm loving white here.
Yeah, g5, bishop g7, and f4, I think, is his idea.
I love it. But you see what I mean? Like, it just seems like black's counterplay is usually stronger in this position.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we can get like some kind of knight c4 thing going. But I'm struggling to find ways to, I mean, a5, a4, a3 is just so slow. And at the end of the day, you're still defending. So, I don't know. I'm worried here for
he's going to go f4. He's going to go f5. He's going to go f6. And Maze is going to do what Maze does best. Mate. That is what he's going to do. He is going to checkmate Luke. I have to agree, actually. I don't like Luke's position here. Unless he can play knight c6. Maybe that's his only hope, to go knight c6 here. Try and exchange a couple of these knights off, because then c2 is weak. And then f5 doesn't work, because we just take twice on d4. And then we can take on c2, which is probably, even that's not completely clear, but I have queen c3 check at the very least. So after knight c6, what is Mazo going to do? Is he going to e5 at some point? I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's not so easy. Maybe it's not so easy. Did he go knight c6? He did. Takes and takes has been played. So now, I mean, black does have a fantastic bishop raking down here. He only needs a couple moves. Yeah, that is the saving grace of his position, isn't it?
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, it was nice that he got that bishop to the long diagonal. But, you know, the thing about these games, Lawrence, is from a chess point of view, they're fascinating. But as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, the mosquitoes are getting bludgeoned in the match, almost regardless of what happens with the migraines reaching 6.5 after just 8 games.
Yeah, the mosquitoes have got almost zero chance here.
And B-Man, meanwhile, looks to be in trouble against Marcus Harvey of the Lions.
Really? Interesting. Yeah, well, this position was always looking a bit
we mentioned that earlier and just how crucial it is. Meanwhile, Christian Bauer against Helgi Olafsson is also a really critical game.
Let's go to Bauer against Olafsson. I need their names. Not Leon Beast, maybe...
Crazy Boy 26.
Crazy Boy, right.
Yes.
Wow. Wow, this is a dream for white. I think maybe not. Maybe...
potentially...
Maybe it's not so easy with knight g4 coming next.
But Yartsin is completely crushing. Like, he's up a pawn and his opponent's pieces are terrible. That was the game against Porper where he had those 2 beautiful knights. Now just 1, but it's even more beautiful. So it looks like the match might actually be tied after this round, likely, with it's the tension is just mounting in this matchup between the Puffins and the Lions, where we're going to see if the Puffins have a chance to make the playoffs. And the B-Man did lose against Marcus Harvey. So now the pressure is on Yartsin to convert and Helgi Olafsson to see maybe if he can make this game interesting. It's certainly not in the bag yet for white.
No,
Christian's got a big time disadvantage. Only 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, but he's a really good blitz player. I've played tons of blitz with him, and I never got crushed so much by a guy than Christian Bauer. I didn't understand anything he was doing, and he just crushed me. So what is he going to do here? Is he going to go like... Can he go knight takes d6? Is that a
Knight
move?
takes d6 with the idea that after queen d6 you have e5, but
Yeah.
the thing is you're also giving up d5. Do you really want to do that?
Well, if queen d5, then I've got like ef6.
I have queen d1 check though.
Queen d1 check and g7 at the end. Yeah, it's probably going to be a draw. So what if I go queen takes f6 there instead of e takes f6? So knight d6, queen d6, e5, queen takes d5, queen takes f6. Threatening this guy, very double-edged.
Indeed, yeah. So this match might go along those lines, and we're going to keep a very close eye on it.
Yeah.
But I did want to point out that it looks like one of your predictions might be wrong, Lawrence, because
No way. That's never happened.
Flavio Perez has gone. It looks like he's going down.
Oh no! It went horribly wrong. It went
Flavio playing
wrong.
the white pieces here.
Yeah, Flavio's going to resign.
And here we have it. GM Rafael has won by resignation. Flavio Perez has gone down. Another one of Lawrence's predictions not turning out. What are the odds, Lawrence?
Incredible. Who would have thunk it, huh?
But very important because before this game, the Blockbusters were leading 6.5, 3.5. So
yeah.
After this game, it'll be 6.5, 4.5. I don't know. Michelangelo playing against Maxime Lagrave, but this is a rook versus a rook and a knight, so that looks like it should be a draw, but very little time for both colors. Maxime, though, playing for the win.
This is actually an easy draw under normal circumstances, but of course he is going to try because you've got nothing to lose. Even if you blunder the rook here, it's still a draw. So unless you blunder both pieces, you should make a draw here. But this is really tough to win.
So that would make it 7-5 going into the final round. So actually a big task for the Turtles. So Blockbuster is looking very good, but we'll see what happens in the final round.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the game with all that tension, Lawrence. The what was it? The scrap versus the crazy boy. Because now Christian Bauer is down to just 1 minute on the clock. Do you still like his game?
I
do.
Just played the move f5. Yeah.
Can't take it because of queen g7 mate. And meanwhile, takes on g6 is the idea.
So probably knight g4 is the first move you look at here with black.
Right, desperately trying to trade queens to keep yourself in the game. And there it is. Knight g4 has been played by Helgi Olafsson. Queen takes d8 immediately by Christian Bauer, not wasting a second on his clock.
But let's not forget this little guy, Ari, the A pawn. Ari with an apostrophe.
Anna the A pawn, right?
Anna
the A pawn.
Look at her. She's sitting there all quiet and meek, but she's ready to explode into action, coming up the board. She's just sitting there at the moment. She's cool. She's hanging out. But
I love this. Simon was the one who started using these names for pawns. Brilliant.
He did.
I am a big fan. I'm also a big fan of the twist of calling them ladies' names because you almost always make your pawn into a queen, so they are definitely little princesses.
That's true. I never thought of it like that. They are little princesses. You've got to look after your little princesses. And,
so knight. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure that the Lions are going to get this one done, but that's good in a way because it makes the match very close. Well, actually, it seems like the Puffins currently have a small lead, 5.5 to 4.5. And Yartsen is winning, so that'll give them a bigger lead. But I think I think the Puffins are going to come into the final round with a reasonable lead. Okay, the scoreboard just changed because I think the Lions just inputted the Marcus Harvey win by the Lions.
Okay.
So it's 4.5, but Yartsen's going to win. So that's going to be 5.5, 4.5, and it's all coming down to this game.
Wow.
To set us up for the final round.
This is a good setup here. And remember, this is the crucial game, guys. Why is the Puffins versus Lions crucial? Well, here are the standings. The Puffins just on 2.5 points here. If the Puffins win, they go to 3.5, and they'll be snapping on the toes of either the Turtles or the Blockbusters, depending on what happens in their particular matchup. And then, of course, the Migraine's now looking like they're actually going to secure their place in the knockout stages because they are crushing today, and with 5.5 points, it's more than enough to be there. And the snowballs, well, the snowballs are, they are, they're a point up against the towers, but are the towers, who are currently, by the way, bottom here, as you can see, are they going to do the likes of the Turtles and the Blockbusters and even the Puffins a big favour by actually getting on the scoreboard and beating, it's actually bottom versus top here. Are they going to beat the snowballs? And it's going to be really close. I think we should go back to some of the towers matches, to be honest. Let's go to a certain Mr. Gawain Jones against Georg Meyer. I think that's actually a game we should focus on, Jen, because it's...
Oh, yes, that's an epic matchup here,
epic matchup.
Lawrence. One of the best of the day.
Absolutely. Gawain, 26.68. Georg Meyer, 26.51. Two super-duper, super-ruper grandmasters. And Gawain went, Georg stuck with his beloved Rubinstein D takes E4 French. And Gawain went for the little old 7G3 with a quick knight E5, and Queen D5. Look at this home prep, Jen. Knight E5, Bishop C6, Knight takes C6, and Queen D5. This is gorgeous idea, because now the rook's attacked. You have to move the rook. You lose casting rights, but you do give white the two bishops. But Georg, he's not afraid of giving white the two bishops, especially when he gets this solid sort of Caro structure. And look at this position we have here. Really interesting position. What would I do here with white? Now, knight e4 is coming, which I'm a bit afraid of. So queen d2, hitting the h6 pawn. Okay.
But let's keep... Can we move back to this after we check that Bauer-Olufsen game? Because they're playing down to the increment, Lawrence, here.
Bauer-Olufsen.
And it looks like actually...
Wow.
How he's trying to come into f4 with the king. Oh my God! Threatening rook takes f5 and king takes g3. There it is. King f4. The Puffins are playing for the win. Rook to h3. But now the pawn on e4 is hanging. No, but he went back to g5. Maybe he's not playing for the win. Maybe I was wrong.
8 seconds. Not easy to play.
8 seconds. Both players. No time left on the clock. Knight e5. Knight g3.
Knight f3 check.
Oh my gosh.
King
g4 played.
Oh my God. Knight takes h5, hitting the rook.
Knight h5, he found it. King takes h3.
Knight f6.
Knight takes f6 is the whole big idea.
Rook f8.
Big find by Christian Bauer. You said he's a fantastic blitz
player,
player, Lawrence.
King g2, no doubt.
You called it.
Quick! Helgi!
Big move.
Oh!
But still, that king is brutal,
oh my
Lawrence.
God. He's got to hurry up.
Gotta love that black king.
Oh no!
No, and Crazy Boy 26 is one on time.
Wow.
And the Puffins have lost the game, but they haven't lost the battle. It is still as tight can be.
Wow.
I think that's going to put us at 5.5. 5.5.
5.5.
And there it is. 5.5. 5.5. Remember that there's a point missing from that game because of the penalty to the Puffins. So this is that's all you got. 5.5 and a 5.5. 5.5 to 5.5 going into the final round.
Very quickly, this
everything to play for.
Amazing. Very quickly though, this Mazet game is like Luke's just a queen up, right? Mazet's trying to do his normal black magic, but it looks as though that Luke actually after rook now he can't go queen e1. Oof, I don't know. Let's come back to that in a minute, but it feels as though Luke should win that match, although it's not maybe as easy as it looks off the top of things. So here.
But going back to your
whoa! Bishop takes f5, my lord. Yes, please. Gawain Jones. All in. We have an all-in scenario, Jen. Bishop takes
Bishop
f5.
takes f5. I like it.
So what's the point?
What's the idea here, Lawrence?
Whoa.
If pawn takes f5, do we have like rook e7?
Rook e7, rook e7, bishop f6. Oh my God, that's
and bishop
gorgeous.
f6 and queen h6, yeah?
Wow.
Let's show that mate.
Oh my God, what a move!
That's an epaulette mate in the middle of the board. Did you show the mate?
Yeah, I showed it.
Okay, yeah, all right, great.
What a move! Wow.
Wow,
what a move. Bishop takes f5.
And there it is. He did take it.
He's going to take what e7.
But rook e7, bishop takes f6.
Now he has to go king g6.
That's his idea.
Right.
But the problem at the end of the day is, you're even in material, but your king's on G6 and you have the double pawn. So white is going to be much better there. Lawrence, Gawain Jones, big advantage.
Huge, yeah. Bishop takes e7, queen takes e7. Now he's just got to be careful that he doesn't run into queen g5, which would exchange queens and allow black, whose king is actually would be very well placed in a bare rook ending, you know, able to come in. So you've got to be a bit careful. So what is Gawain going to do? Let's guess.
My problem is if you move your king like to the light squares and we let our black have the control over the only open file on the board with rook e8, I'm starting to feel less excited about white's position.
Maybe it's not actually even that good. I mean, I'm not entirely sure. It was a brilliant idea. I guess he's going to play the move. What is he going to play? What is a Gawain move here? I guess he's going to play... I don't know what he's going to play.
It's hard because the king is not really that much safer in b1 or c2, Lawrence. Like, we want to improve our king position, but king b1 to c2 actually makes it more exposed. So I'm not sure. Maybe George Meyer really did a good job finding this defense. Obviously, white still has an advantage, but you know, that's the problem. You find these beautiful tactics, but if you're playing with somebody against somebody as good as George
I
Meyer,
promise you I was going to say d5.
It doesn't mean that the game is over, right? They don't just collapse on you.
They certainly don't. Rook d8, pinning, and now if d6, queen g5, and who's better and why? Who is better and why? I'm not convinced white is better here, actually, now.
And against the, between the snowballs and the towers, we have two strong women players facing off. Ine Agres versus Sumaroa. Seems kind of balanced, especially after this move queen d7, although I guess I like white a little bit better because the bishops are stronger. Comes down to that. If we play queen takes d7... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Much better. White's much better here.
Queen d7, bishop d7. We have two bishops that are both better than your bishops, which is kind of uncommon. Usually we have like one bishop that's better than yours, but both. It's definitely a good position for white.
This isolated, you know, you take on d7, bishop d7, bishop e3. You bring the rook to e1 real quick. You know, well, maybe I'm being a bit over the top with it. It's much better, but white's definitely the one who's got the more pleasant position because she's got the better pawn structure. So I think Ine is pretty happy with her position right about now. So,
and we've got, what do we still have going on? Michelangelo.
Yeah, we've got Michelangelo against Tokras, Matthew Cornet against Luka Lenic. This is a Cam Blockbusters versus Ljubljana Turtles match. Remember, these guys are going to be pretty happy with their situation. I think a draw would actually suit them, but the Blockbusters already on 7 points. So, you know, a win would obviously be much better. Which would mean...
absolutely, especially since their tie breaks are so terrible, as we pointed out before. They'd like to win and just reduce the chances that there's some scenario where they'll tie for 4th place.
Yeah. So I think, you know, Cornet's going to be reasonably happy with his position here, although it's not the most exciting game in the world. What else have we got here?
We've got all these. We've got all the Blockbuster Turtles games going on. We've got Lagarde against Scobrene. We've got
this is actually interesting. This is actually quite an interesting position as well. Lagarde against Scoberne. Scoberne.
And by the way, the Puffins final match against Alliance has just started. Exactly tied up. So just incredible. Now, I should point out the migraines literally need half a point to clinch a draw and 1 point to clinch the victory.
Yeah.
So we're very close to winning the match.
That will all but knock... Actually, the Mosquitoes are out of here. They are out of here for sure if they lose. They were pretty much out of here anyway, but if they lose today, they are goners. So we will be saying goodbye to Amsterdam following today. And the Migraines will book their place for sure in the knockout phase of this tournament.
They actually have one game still going on in the final match. Yannick Gazzoli is playing against Chazo Lopez right now, and it looks like Gazzoli is up a pawn with a better king. So they could clinch the match right here, Lawrence. So we might want to take a quick look at that game and see if we can say goodbye to the Mosquitoes in this round with a whole match left to go, a whole round left to go.
Gotta find Yannick Gazzoli.
That one is Nuki.
Nuki.
Yes.
There he is. There is Nuki. Yeah. Jazzle is getting frazzled. Frazzling the Jazzle.
Well, he is the underdog in this scenario.
He is the underdog.
So it's not his fault that the match he's going down. You know, it hasn't been Loek Van Wely's day. I don't even know if we look at the individual scoreboard.
Yeah. Well, the scoreboard, Jazzle
Van Wely has 1.5
has
points.
lost
so
all of his games.
And remember, there was that terrible game where Elias was set to upset Maze and, you know, lost in the last second turnaround. So the match actually could have been a lot closer, but
yeah,
it looks here like Black's just winning, right? Just keep pushing that pawn.
Yeah, there's nothing White can do. No, nothing. Just go b3, not fall for any silly knight checks and win the game. So Yannick is going to win. He's also massively up on the clock. And that will secure a win for the Migraines with a round to go, which is always good news. So it's just a question of how ruthless they want to be. Do they want to win all the rest of their games? Thomas Rendell is playing. Quick shout out to Thomas Rendell playing in that very important match for the London Towers. That Towers match, 6-7 now. The snowball's edging. Let's see what we got here. They've brought in Diamant this week because they really needed it. But Diamant in big trouble against Thomas Rendell here. It looks like, oh, and look at this knight g4, Jen. If queen takes b3, we don't take that queen. We don't care about queens in this game. Knight h6, mate. This gorgeous mate here. One for all of you guys to remember at home. This construction. Remember, bit of pro tip here. Chess is all about pattern recognition. All the guys watching who are my students or who have been taught by me before, I keep on banging on about pattern recognition. Why? Because this is just a checkmate that I know it's ingrained on my it's been etched in on my soul and on my mind. And I know that knight h6 is mate, so it doesn't really matter what's going on over this side of the board. I see that mate and I go for it, right? So it's all about pattern recognition. Recognize those checkmates, recognize those constructions. Because queen takes b3, a lot of people would just snap that queen off. But no, there's mate on the board.
And here we have it. GM Nuki has won by resignation against Jazzle Lopez, and the Migraines are the first victors of this round of the Central Division. The Migraines has defeated the Mosquitoes, and they've really basically locked up their playoff spot, haven't they, Lawrence?
No, they're through. They're through.
They're in. The Migraines led by Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Congratulations. Big victory today. And will they take the #1 spot? It's looking good for that as well with this big victory, Lawrence, which certainly is going to help their tie breaks a lot too, because they're racking up those game points, Lawrence.
Yeah,
8.5. They still have a round to play.
Yeah, they're gonna try and get as many points on the board because they do want to finish top of the league. It is a point to prove. They want to show the others that they are, capable of just racking up points after points after points. So. Well done to the Migraines.
And by the way, by doing that, this game, they're probably going to, even if the Snowballs wins the match against the Towers, which is a big if because it's really close right now, even if they do, I think the Migraines are going to gain enough tiebreak points to catapult into the first position.
Yeah,
because with a round left to go, they're going to score some more points, and that could have big implications also for who plays whom in the playoffs, with the #1 spot playing the #4 spot. So very intriguing developments here as the Migraines pull off the big victory. Meanwhile, let's go back to the game between Ina Agres and Stu Maroa, because you were saying you thought White was much better, and indeed, it looks like Ina Agres is getting the job done. I'm not sure exactly what happened here, but it seems like just up a rook.
Yeah, no, it went horribly wrong for Sue. There's not even anything to talk about here. Ina is just up a rook. She's going to go queen g8 check to king h2. Queen g8 check is coming next. It's mate. Actually, it's just over, right? It's just resigns here. Sue can resign with a clear conscience. She doesn't have to play a move. And that's a big win for the Snowballs. Hey, That gets them to 8 points, Jen. Only half away from, you know, winning a very important match against Tia, and Inna has won.
And that brings us to George Meyer, who, if he draws against Gawain Jones, clinches the match victory against the Towers.
Yes.
And if he wins, maybe everything I said earlier about the migraines catapulting them on tiebreak will be invalid, because that will be a pretty good start to a big score for themselves as well. Well,
Georg Meyer is in an ending. We've never seen that before. And he's actually much better. As I said, I wasn't convinced that Gawain was actually doing that well. And now it's become clear. Georg is actually a pawn up with a better king. And I say better king, h5 check has just been played.
h5 check, but...
Just king g7, yeah, that's good enough. And if queen takes f5, is there some nasty check here, or is it just a draw? Maybe it's just a draw.
Meanwhile, we've got one other game by Andre Diamant against Thomas Rendall.
Yeah, but that's the one we've been looking at.
Yeah, and that one, yeah, exactly. So it looks like that'll be
that's very interesting.
For the snowballs as well, potentially.
I think the snowballs are going to do it, though. I really
maybe 9.5, 6.5, something like that.
Yeah,
still,
maybe.
The migraines are obviously set to get a much bigger score than that this round, but it might be enough to keep them in the top position going into the last round.
Here are the standings again. So it looks as though the snowballs and the migraines are going to do the business, securing both of their spots. And in the Turtles versus the Blockbusters game, again, the Blockbusters are just 1.5 points away. So I think we should go there. Let's have a look at Valentina Gunina playing here against Matej Sibinik for the CAM Blockbusters. How is Valentina doing? Again, a very typical Valentina position on the offensive, on the attack. But it looks as though White's just about got things covered there. It doesn't look like Valentina has got that much. So be interesting to see.
Yeah, indeed. The problem is that like Black's position looks very menacing, but if it doesn't amount to anything, then White has a better structure. The pristine H4, G3, F2, no weaknesses, whereas Black, it's got some weaknesses. The pawn on B6, the pawn on E5 potentially. So this could go either way. Very interesting.
Let's go to because the super standout match now is, if the Puffins win, do they have a chance? The answer is
yes.
Well,
let's start looking at those games, Lawrence, because that is certainly the big question of the day. We've got Yartsein against Christian Bauer.
Yeah,
that looks like some kind of sacrificial line of the French defense where I thought White had given up a pawn for activity, but actually it's equal pawns. And Black just played this move, Queen H4.
Yeah.
I kind of like Black in these types of positions.
Yeah, I think in blitz chess especially, or rapid chess, being on the attack makes a big difference, because you're not having to find defensive moves and you can kind of play with flow, as Yasser would say.
With flow.
Yeah, just play with your natural energy. You know the queen belongs on H4. You know where the weaknesses are in your opponent's position. So I also agree that I think it's easier to play this position with Black with lower time. But I should point out the game smooth as smooth as a hedgehog. Andy Horton playing against Bragi Torfinson. Bragi has gone for it. Bragi is sacked on G4 here on move 10. He's just going bang. Let's go. Let's play some chess.
Hello, B-Man. Doing it, trying to do it for the Puffins.
How dangerous is this attack? This attack looks relatively dangerous, I would say, actually.
So he's given up a piece for the attack, and he's also got one pawn for it.
Yeah, but he's an F4 by Andy.
F4 just played.
Let's see, how do you continue here? Tricky position, actually.
Yeah, it's not that obvious, not that easy. You see attacks that are super easy to play. This one, not as much. I guess we kind of want to open the position, maybe get our knight into the game with knight H5 or
knight
G4 check.
Yeah, the problem with knight
Knight
g4 check, king g2, there's no follow-up there, I don't see.
Yeah, not obvious at all.
What about
So
the move? Is this... No, I was going to make a silly suggestion. Maybe not that silly, but...
So the battle of the Titans has begun between King Loek and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Normally, our eyes would be peeled in that game, but it actually doesn't matter for the tournament. So we will get back to that a little bit later. Meanwhile, Helgi Olafsson's game against Edward Porper is very interesting.
Right.
Yeah, we were just looking at that one.
I think it's this one here. Helgi Olafsson against Edward Porper. Okay. And the Snowballs have won, indeed. They've reached 9. Your prediction of 9.5, I think, is very, very decent prediction there, Jen. Let's have a look. This Helgi Olafsson, at least Edward is going for it. The Porper, the Porpster, as he's known back home. He's not.
Does that mean he's skinny?
No, he's not. I've just made that up.
Okay.
But if he's not known as the Porpster, he should be. Queen d7, now threatening f takes g2 because the bishop is defended. And White's king is lacking a few defenders.
That's for sure. That's for sure. This is looking menacing, but, Black's position is not necessarily all roses either. That pawn on g6 could become a target.
That is very true. That is very true.
The knight on a5 is keeping your queen honest on d7.
I like it when I'm kept honest. Keep me honest, guys, in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I know we haven't been reading that many messages, but you've got to remember we've got 20 to 25 games ongoing at the same time, trying to do chess and everything else. We are hearing it. Any decent messages, Jen will scout.
Yeah, I was reading a bunch of them earlier. But right now I'm looking over at the chat and I'm seeing message deleted, message deleted, message deleted. So.
Yeah. And
somebody who's a major fan of us, Lawrence, or a troll.
Yes, and we've been told by a certain
we mentioned that we mentioned earlier that the tie breaks for the migraines and the snowballs are going to be neck and neck potentially after this match because the migraines are likely to build a massive score. Right. They came into the round 8.5. They still have 4 games. They might surpass the snowballs, or they might at least come close to the snowballs with 1 game to go.
Right.
And right now the snowballs are 2.5 points ahead in game points. Migraines set to narrow that lead today. Well, both of them are going to go to 5.5. Both of them have already gone to 5.5 points. Right. 2 phenomenal teams. They're both going to be in the playoffs. And congratulations to them both. But who's going to come out on top? It's going to be very tight, and it's so important because if there's an 8-8 tie in the playoffs, the team with more tiebreak points gets those draw odds on it. So it's a huge competitive advantage.
Indeed. So looks like an avalanche here for the migraines, and we'll see what happens. We've got that, we've got the big match there, King Luke versus Leon Beast. Normally this would be the highlight match, as you correctly said, Jen, but given the state, we will come back to that. I'm very interested in this Puffins match, I have to say. I think this is a massive, massive match. And let's go straight to that. So we've got B-Man.
We have a question on the Twitch chat from I Am Bricktop about how we remember all the names of the chess squares. I mean, honestly, it's just about listening to me and Lawrence more, or anyone. You can listen to any stream. You can just study chess. The more time you spend on chess, it's like any language. The squares are just going to come naturally to you. So sit down, enjoy a few more hours of chess coverage. Ho Yifan is playing tonight, top women player in the world for the Chess Bras. I guarantee you, if you listen to the next 6 hours of chess tonight, you can have those squares in your brain by the end of the evening.
Absolutely. Going back to this Andy Horton, Braggy Thorkinson. Now, just want to point out a nice little trap. This is B-Man's game. After knight g4 check, if white goes king g2, black can now give a double check with knight e3. And then if the king goes back to h2, black has got a beautiful little checkmate, queen g2 mate, taking advantage of the pin here. Of course, white doesn't have to do that. He can go king f2. But then you run into moves like bishop to d4, and who knows what's going on here. King e2, and maybe now rook takes h3, knight takes h3, and queen g2 check. There's all kinds of madness. Actually, also the queen is on brie, I should point out, in some of those lines. So the question is, are you going to go knight g4 check here? He went queen g6. So what was the problem with knight g4 check? King h1, and there... Knight g4 check, king h1. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a clear follow-up there. So he went queen g6 and knight d5 by Andy Horton, takes by Bragi, and now the bishop can come to e5 check. cd5, is he going to go bishop e5 check here? Or is he going to go knight e5?
Knight e5, both pieces eyeing that e5 square, and instead he played knight to d4. Curious.
Now what is Andy going to do?
Oh, but bad news for the Puffins.
Oh, no.
And good news for the Lions.
Tell me.
Christian Bauer's game just looks like he's threatening mate on h2 and f2, and f2 is also in threat. Wow. I'm counting the pieces here. I mean, I guess you have knight c7 check, but that's just not going to help because you're getting mated.
Wow. We said, Jen, didn't we, just 5 minutes ago, why we like to play these positions with black in blitz, because the moves come naturally. It looks like mate to me.
Well, shout out to Christian Bauer, Crazy Boy 26, who has had quite the day today. This win would bring him to 3.5 out of 4.
Well, this would be a huge win for him. Knight c7 has been played, indeed. The king will go to f8, I guess. Just, you know, there's no need to go to d8 and allow checks. King f8, and then how are you going to defend against this? Queen f3, then bishop takes f2. I don't see a defense here, Jen. I really don't.
It looks like knight c7 check was played, and now we expecting king d8, just hitting the knight. And yeah, I mean, you're going to have to sacrifice your queen. I mean, this is dead.
Oh, he
dead
went king
for
d8.
The Puffins.
He
king
went
d8
king d8
played. You can't play knight a8, just queen h2 and bishop f8, or bishop f2 mate after king h1, queen h2.
Yeah.
So he was forced to sacrifice his queen.
Yeah, he gave his queen. And then
queen takes g4, and then knight takes a8.
But now just bishop c6 and queen f3, and let's call it a day.
This is over. It's resign time for the Puffins, almost. So this is a dismal start, and the Blockbusters have clinched their match against the Turtles. So it's all about the Puffins versus the Lions right now.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a point that they're going to have to make up somewhere, Lawrence. And
where are they going to win it?
Going to be the one to do it.
Let's go there.
Let's look at his position where.
He's like worse. He's losing. He's not even on. He's an exchange down, Helgi.
But he's got 2 pawns, Lawrence.
Yeah, but
two pawns and potentially the threat of like f4.
Ooh, I mean
f4 could be a dangerous idea. Rook c2 was his play.
C2?
Not sure what the purpose of that move was.
Well, he has to defend. Excuse me, he has to defend f2.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I guess f4 was maybe pawn takes f4 or something.
But now
f7 played.
Maybe f4 is the right way. I mean, you hate playing f4 with white, but at the same time, you love it.
Big time advantage as well and there it is, by the way. Crazy Boy has won his game, giving him a big score today, 3.5 out of 4 for the Lions, and
solid performance by Bauer today. Yeah,
very nice. Yeah. Of course, there was that one game against Olafsson, which was just a wild time scramble, but Queen G2 will play.
Can you take on f2? Nearly. Oh, it's so close. These are the tactics you look out
coming into the position.
Yeah, you're looking out for this. So rook takes f2. If rook takes f2, then you've got bishop to e3, which would be fantastic. But queen takes f2. Hold on. Queen takes f2, rook takes f2, bishop e3. Whoa! Take it! Surely you can take that guy. Surely you can take it. What? King g8? How dare you? How dare you? I should come over to Quebec and show you. You don't play King. What is King? Why can't I take on f2? Show me why I can't take on f2, Jen.
Oh, I'm just looking for one more game. Sorry. I'm looking at
exchange up with a very good position.
I'm also just taking a quick peek around at all the Puffins games because so crucial. The B-Man game looking more and more interesting.
We're going to B-Man. Whoa. Whoa, this has got out of hand.
Queen G7 check just played by Bragi.
Bragi. Kept the chances alive really well, Bragi.
So he's got a, you played King H2, Queen E5 check. But boy, looking at the positions of the other boards, Lawrence, I'm not sure a draw is going to be good for the Puffins right now.
I don't think he wants a draw, actually.
Right now it's 5.5 Puffins, 6.5 Lions. The Puffins need to get into 8.5 to win the match. But even 8 would leave them in some contention.
This is such a tense
They would have to hope that their opponents in the last round, they'd have to win their final game and also hope that the Turtles lose. Because the Blockbusters have won their match.
Yeah.
So it's now the Turtles that have 4 points. If the Puffins draw their match today, they'd have 3. So the Turtles would have to lose and the Puffins would have to win. And they'd have to get better tie break. So a lot of factors here in between Puffins and playoff glory.
Yeah, and quickly switching back to the Olofsson-Pauper game. Again, you know, Edward is still kind of controlling the position, to be honest. He's still got a very good position. A bit down on the clock. H4, he's just going to drop back. He's still doing okay.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier how big of a disaster it would be, how much better it would be for the Puffins if the Blockbusters lost instead of the other way around, because the Turtles tiebreaks are just so much better than the Puffins, whereas the Blockbusters were actually like going to be neck and neck. So this is really bad news for the Puffins. I mean, they're going to have to hope for some miracles, but it's happened before for the Puffins. So maybe it'll happen now. I mean, I think they almost need to like win this match to keep in contention, which means that they'd have to win. Remember, it's a little different in this match because there's a point missing. So
there is a point missing.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at the Horton game versus Bragi. I think what Horton's thinking about is after King G2, does Bragi want to give up another rook and play rook takes h3 with the point that after knight takes h3 he can now castle and finally bring this other rook in to g8? Because at the moment the problem he's had for many moves is that this bishop cuts the black king from getting castle queenside. Is that what he wants? King g2? No, he's going for the
draw, but
why?
I'm doing the math, Lawrence, and I don't think a draw is going to be good.
No,
I don't think it's going to do it here.
Why is he going for a draw here?
I mean, Yuono has got to win now. Yuono playing black against Marcus Harvey, but he's also looking like he's going for a perpetual. The problem is, I guess they don't really know exactly what's going on. Kjartansson has drawn the game, and they're focused on their own game. They're not really looking around because it's hard enough to play your own game. But this is this is not good because I'm just doing the basic math here, and I'm seeing that the Puffins need to win this match, and it doesn't look like it's happening, Lawrence.
Bjorn has to play for a win here. If I was Bjorn, F5, let's go.
That's right. You got to do it.
Gotta go.
And I think they have to hope that Helgi wins also. 6-7 right now with 2 games left to go.
Yeah, really. Let's quickly go over to the Helgi game as well, because it's such a critical...
They need to win both of them.
Yeah,
they need to have Helgi win and Bragi to win. It's a tall order, but that's what must be done here.
But I mean, Helgi's suffering. Helgi's suffering. Is he gonna magic something here? It just feels like this position is just so on edge. Helgi has to try and win, but I don't see Queen E4 now. You can just go Queen F5 or something, or Queen A4 or Queen B5. There's a lot of queen moves here. Queen
A7 played. One good thing in favor of the Puffins here is he does have a big time in, 4 minutes to 2.5. it's something, you know.
Yeah.
They have to win this game. Maybe he'll try f4 at this point.
I mean, I would just snap that off with. Ooh, would I snap it off?
But you see what I mean?
Doesn't quite work. I want to snap it off with the bishop, but it doesn't quite work because g6 is hanging. Yeah, he does. Queen e1. I mean, he's just too passive. Queen d7. Just too. And queen e4, queen a7 is going to be a draw by perpetual.
Oh no, that would mean that the best they can do is get a draw in this match.
Helgi probably doesn't know the standings. That's why it's so important to have communication within the team. Maybe be on a Skype call together. I don't know if that's allowed. Maybe that's not allowed. I'm not sure.
And on the tie breaks, it's not even that. It's also they need to be aware of like the tie break situation and what happened in the blockbusters match. It's kind of complicated, you know.
Yeah.
It's not just this match. They might think, well, they can win the next one, but it looks kind of dismal. I mean, I'd have to look at the scores a little bit more closely, but it really does look dismal for them. It looks dire.
F4
because
queen.
Look at the Turtles. They've got 81 and a half game points. After this match, the Puffins could get to like. With a draw, they're only going to get to like 75, right?
Right.
So yeah, you can't make that up. It's
you
dead.
Can't. Yeah.
It's dead. You can't make it up. I mean, I guess you could win every single game, and the Turtles could lose every game. But yeah, that's not likely.
Well, that's very unlikely, isn't it?
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah. Not every single game, but the Turtles would have to lose almost all their games. Yeah, it's a lot of.
It's a lot of losses. Yeah, it's a lot of ground to make up. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay. Corazón espinado.
F4 was played in that game. The Bragi game, even less time left on the clock. Queen G3 just played, and now Queen G8 is menaced. Knight takes A1 played, so Queen G8 is possible. That's going to force Queen F8. And then that's going to be two pieces versus a rook in the endgame.
No.
Right?
Black's an exchange up, right? Or am I counting? Oh, if you mean after rook takes A1, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's going on there? That's... Oof.
But White just decided to play Queen G6 because now he can play rook takes A1 and ask if you want to take the queen, which would, of course, be a much stronger pawn. So that was a nice little... Yeah,
that was very good fun. Now I'm very pessimistic about Bragi's position, and I'm very pessimistic in general about the Puffins now.
Unfortunately. Tough, you know. This last match, the Lions really, you know, did a fantastic job. They really played well.
They did.
I mean, I look at this last match, and I feel like a lot of it was the strong play of the Lions, even more than the Puffins messing up, and that just makes you kind of sad that the Lions didn't do better earlier in the season, so that they would be in contention as well.
Right. Rook e1 is a nice move by Andy. The point is now if rook g8, he's going to go queen takes d6, taking advantage of this pin. So he's going to snap on d6 here. Oh, okay. He didn't. Fair enough. Okay. Thought he could just pick up d6 there. I don't know why he didn't do that. Knight f3, but this position is still very unpleasant for Bragi. Playing against these two pieces, especially when there are holes in the position, is really, really nasty. I guess f6 is a really strong move. I think he could have played f6 here as well.
And meanwhile, it's pretty wild in the game between Helgi Olafsson against Edward Porper,
okay,
where both players they're playing on 1.5 minutes each.
Knight d4 by Helgi.
Knight d4, he's down in exchange, Helgi, trying to win it back right now.
Well, he has won it back. Right? This rook
Bishop takes g5 played. Okay, that's a nice move. Knight takes f5, g takes f5, Zwischenzug, and you get to save your bishop. Lovely move there. Picking up another crucial pawn, and wow, the Lions are really on fire in this match. Bad timing for the Puffins to the Lions to find their roar.
But is this knight f5, gf5?
Gf5.
Queen c4.
Okay, so you keep the h4 pawn this way.
Yeah. Still not over. Anything can happen, as we've seen in Blitz, with the kings open.
Absolutely. With 1 minute left on the clock, indeed, anything can happen.
King h3, nice move. That's the move I was thinking about. Now the rook can come to g2 with check. I would go queen h5 here. Rook g2, check, king h8. Oh, and then queen takes f4. Rip.
Oh, nice one.
Let's put that on the board. Queen h5, rook g2 check, king h8. Beware of the long diagonals, kids. So I wouldn't do that. So we went king h7 immediately, rook g2. Now we can go rook g8 or something like that. But actually, how clear is this? Well, maybe it is clear, rook g8.
But unfortunately, what is clear is that the B-man is going down.
B-man is going down. Andy is a tough
Yes, the B-man is going down, and that is going to...
Knight b7 check just wins immediately in d7.
And that's going to give the Lions the
What?
W.
Why wouldn't you go knight b7 check, king e8 and d7 and queen the
Well, still though, 12 seconds left for Bragi. And remember, 8 points is going to get the win in this match because of the point taken off of the table. So, yeah, this is over, I think. And there it is. Smooth as a hedgehog, Andy Horton has won this match for the Lions.
Yeah. So that is very sad news for the Puffins.
For all the fans of the Puffins.
I'm a fan. You know, I was just in Iceland. I don't know if I mentioned that during the stream at all, Jen, today. And I saw the wonderful mountains and just so much scenery. But today, it was not a pretty sight.
No, well played. Well played from the Lions, winning a really important match there for the league, even if it doesn't give them a chance. But it's also good to come in the middle two spots because it gives you a chance for gives you a chance to play in a chance to move up into next year, right? To qualify next year, right? So the places 5 through 6 are important as well.
They are important. And actually, Helgi just flagged here, by the way. His position stank, but he flagged. So the Lions
we did commentary on that. Remember the qualifier for the Pro Chess League?
Yeah, I do.
I remember that was on Halloween, and that was really fun. And you know, the Lions with this victory are actually going to leapfrog the Mosquitoes. So it's pretty important.
Okay, well, we've got one match left. Not really a relevant match because we already know the outcome.
But what a game. We got to look at Maxime Vachier-Lagrave against Loek Van Wely. And this position looks like it's on fire.
It looks like it's on fire for Luke. It looks like Luke's rear is on fire, if I may say.
I hear you.
He's getting...
You can't take on G3 because you're going to get mated, presumably, right?
Yeah, I mean,
one move on H1. So rook G2, the idea is now that we're trying to take on G3 with the idea that queen H1 can be met by king F2. So what now for Maxime?
Good question.
We want to try to get that bishop into the game, but the knight cleverly stops us from getting to either E5 or D4.
I would go G4 here, probably.
Okay, what's the idea?
Well, if you go H takes G3, then I go G takes F3.
Gotcha. Okay, and if I take on G4?
And if you take on G4, then at least my rook now enters this way, and I would try and make something... I would try and magic something up, although not entirely clear how... Maybe... Can I do that? No, I'm so close. Maybe I would just go rook H4 or something and try and take back on G4 like this and claim that I've just got an attack. Let's see, MBL's a bit of a master here, so he has got 6 minutes, so it'd be really curious to see what move he comes up with, actually.
Meanwhile, it looks like Yannick Gazzoli is completely winning in his game, both on the board and on the position, and he did just win that game against Elias. So, you know, this is actually important for 2 reasons, because the Mosquitoes want to keep their tie breaks up so that if they can get into the 5 through 6 spots, they can try to qualify for next year's league.
Right.
And for the Migraines, of course, they want to have better tie breaks in the snowballs so they have draw odds. So actually, like every game is important, Lion.
It's true.
Every game.
It's true.
And that's one of the reasons that the Pro Chess League rules were designed with this in mind.
Sorry to interrupt.
There wouldn't be a bunch of games that meant nothing.
That's true. Sorry to interrupt, but did MVL, has he been watching the stream? Is he stream sniping me? Of course he played G4. I play like MVL. I haven't even had a sausage today and I still play like MVL. Show me the money, get me in, champ. I'm playing next year. Beat me up, Scotty.
So G4, FG4, and
And
then
rook
he just played
H4.
rook to H4.
That's what I said. He's a
Gosh,
genius.
he's just letting it all hang out here, Lawrence.
Tell me about it.
So wait, what's the idea here? After takes on G3.
Well, if you take on G3, it looks like it feels bad.
Just rook takes G3. Yeah, just rook takes G3. So that's the idea that you play G4 to open up the rank.
Check.
We're used to opening up files, not ranks. So that's why that is kind of an unusual tactic, right?
Curious.
So Locust tried to remove one of the defenders, a very normal-looking idea. But remember what I said earlier about Mr. Bishop on G7?
Yeah.
Once we trade off knights, isn't my bishop just coming to E5 or D4 with devastating effect?
It really is. So takes, bishop D4, king H1, and they're fighting.
And then bishop B5 maybe, yeah?
Yeah, I want to be even more pretty. He's trying to find something pretty here, MVL. This is over for sure. Knight F5, bishop D4.
What a score the migraines are gonna rack up. Oh my god. I
mean, they're probably gonna get like 12.
Maxime is gonna win this game, and then we've also got Sebastian Maze, who his game, it looks like kind of even. So I don't know if he's gonna win his game. So that might be a standstill there. And then there's one other game, I'm sure, from the youngster.
No, I think this is the last one, right?
Oh, okay. How did Mark Andrea do?
I think he lost.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So
these are
black
the last
to play and win.
Underway, yeah.
Black to play and win. Black to play and win, huh? God, it feels like me. Bishop D4, check king H1, rook G3, perhaps?
Well, right now, after E5, he started with bishop B5 instead of bishop D4 check.
Also good enough.
Queen E2 played instantly from Van Wely, who used to play instantly because he's only got 15 seconds.
Now bishop takes H2 check anyway. Is good. Rook takes H2. Oh no, rook G3, king H1. It's not good. I'm talking nonsense. I'm talking and nothing. Oh, really? No. Is Lukey performing one of these miracle?
Maybe, but he's got to perform a miracle in 14 seconds, Lawrence. So even if he has some defensive chances here, that clock position is dreadful. It looks irrecoverable as long as Maxime can find some way to make a threat here.
Wow. Why can't I? What? He's struggling like me. He's tired. You know, it's 11:15. He's thinking, goodness sake. You know, why can't we win this position?
Why am I not in the candidates? Why can't I win this position? These are the things that plagues Maxime Vachier-Lagrave in equal measure.
Yeah, I think he's very disappointed about not being in the candidates. By the way, if you want, if just sort of on the side while we listen to that, candidates is happening in just a few days. Watch this space. I'm not allowed to say just yet, but I may be involved. Follow me at Lawrence Trent IM. At Lawrence Trent IM, I'm based in Berlin. Candidates is in Berlin. 2 + 2 = 4. You do the math. So if you follow me, I'll be updating on Twitter. Don't want to release anything just yet, but it looks as though I may be involved. So if you've enjoyed the commentary today, get involved. If you haven't enjoyed the commentary today, get involved because it'll be even better come the candidates. And MVL is struggling here. MVL's like, what? MVL's like, am I just worse? You know?
Yeah, MVL is draining down his clock. The other game still going on that I mentioned earlier was the Sebastian Maze game, a rook endgame where equal pawns, 2 extra minutes for Sebastian.
Yeah, but
it seems like they're just kind of repeating, like,
yeah, there's nothing
can't really
to do.
Make any progress. And there it is, it's a draw. So that gives the migraines 10 points. Can they make it 11?
Rook G4, King H1.
We gotta turn to the last game of the round. Rook takes D2.
And Queen F3, is that a draw?
And it looks like Rook G2, Queen H3 check.
King G1?
We're headed to a draw.
But after Rook G2, Queen H3, why can't I go King G1? Ah, because then Rook G2, Queen G2, and Queen E3.
Yeah, and then Queen E3 check, and I'll be up a pawn at the end of the day.
Just to show that this would be a very good ending for that. This will end in a draw momentarily.
And MVL with such a dominant position on the board and the clock might feel like he missed something there.
Yeah, there might have been
Perhaps
something.
some missed opportunity. But you know what? At the end of the day, 10.5 points in the match versus 5.5 for the Mosquitoes. They bridged the distance a little between the Snowballs. Big tiebreak advantage that could become crucial, as we're going to see next week at the last round of the regular season for the Central Division, Lawrence.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do, guys, is I am going to, because I believe the standings have been updated. So here are the standings as we are. Just going to quickly capture this.
Yes, they're fast. Those Chess.com guys, they're on it, Lawrence.
They are. Here is
shout out to Yannick. Yannick, just looking at the individual, shout out to Yannick Gazzoli from the Marcel Migraines for scoring a perfect 4-0.
Wonderful.
One of the main reasons that the Migraines had such a beautiful day. Also 4-0, Matthew Cornett of the Blockbusters. Big reason that they were able to come out on top of the Turtles.
Yeah. So here are the standings, Jen. Snowballs sitting pretty up top with an important win today and better game points. So they've got the better tiebreak against the Migraines. They are both through, but we'll see next week who actually comes out as the league winners. So they're going to be trying to rack up as many points as possible. Cam Blockbusters have also secured their place into the next round on 5 points. And then the Ljubljana Turtles have also secured their place because the Puffins were not able to win today. Huge disappointment for the Puffins. So the 4 teams you see there are going through. The big question.
Okay, I don't think it's 100% clear. No? Wait. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
I am right. Right?
You're right. I was thinking. You know, I was thinking that the Puffins might draw under some circumstances, but then after the hell, I was still fantasizing about the possibility of that happening. But yeah, you're right. It's just over. The
Puffins are out. Unfortunately, the Puffins are out. The Lions are out. The Mosquitoes are out, and the Towers are out. They are all out. And the guys who finish in the bottom 2, as you said, Jen, they have to actually qualify again for next year if they want to play. So it is important. These guys have got places to fight for. Actually, the Towers are bottom, so they will have to qualify next year. The Mosquitoes, well, who knows, if they win, they can maybe get that automatic staying place. But the top 4 teams, as we see it, are going through. Next week, what we're going to do is we're going to see who actually comes out on top. They're going to be relieved. They deserved it, all 4 of these teams, Jen. They were the most consistent. Especially, obviously the Snowballs and Migraines, but also the Turtles, they got off to a very early lead in the tournament, and they deserve it. And so it'll be interesting to see a lot of these top grandmasters, who they're going to face off in the knockout stages, which we still don't have all of the details of the knockout stages, when it's going to be hosted, and
I think you might have misspoke, Lawrence. Yeah, okay, right. No, you got it, I think, yeah.
Yes.
But I'm taking a look at our Twitch chat.
Yes.
And it seems like people are really excited for the halftime show that we generally have in between us and the beginning of the Atlantic and Pacific Division.
Beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out as well. We are going to wait until we get the go-ahead to pass over to the halftime show. But, so we will be back next week, myself and Jen. Same time, same place. We'll have a very jovial occasion there. Really, the things to fight for, the Snowballs and the Migraines, they're going to be fighting for top spot. The Cam Blockbusters might sniff a chance to sneak up one place. The Turtles are condemned. Well, actually, they're not condemned to 4th place because they've got a great tiebreak. So the Turtles, if Can lose next week and the Turtles win, they could actually leapfrog Can because they've got such a big advantage in game points. And so there are things to fight for next week, so looking forward to that. And I'm going to show you guys once again, perhaps what these guys are fighting for. The prizes, here we go, guys. A whopping 20,000 big ones for first prize. And as Jen mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, they are flying out to San Fran, guys. The final 4 are going to San Fran. This is a first ever in chess, all right, that this is really evolving into a true esports style format where they're going to be live, they're going to be playing live. What an experience as well. Remember, Jen, some of these guys, some of these teams have got youngsters on the teams who have never been to San Fran, you know, never been to the States. What a fantastic
lots of people
opportunity.
haven't been to San Fran before, and who doesn't want to go back? So, especially for such an occasion to play for the Pro Chess League title. Lawrence, it's going to be really thrilling as we start to reach the conclusion of this second season of the Pro Chess League.
Yeah, and just going from strength to strength. For all of you guys who have been wondering, where are these teams all hailing from? What is the Pro Chess League all about? Here is a map of the league. Remember, 4 divisions. We're covering the Central Division. The Eastern Division already took place, where the Delhi Dynamites are leading with the Armenia Eagles and the Mumbai Movers. Absolutely incredible league, the Eastern Division. 3 teams on 5.5 points, with the Estonia Horses on 4.5 slowly behind them. So there's a huge fight there. And even the Norway Gnomes, if they are to win next week and the Estonia Horses lose due to their superior tiebreak, they've got a chance, of course, world champion Magnus Carlsen playing for the Gnomes. And I guess he'll be drafted in next week because they're going to need all the game points they can get. It's out of their hands. If Estonia seem to get even a draw, they are through. But what a league we have there. And upcoming, we have the Atlantic Division with the Webster Windmills out in front at the moment, followed by the Pittsburgh Pawn Grabbers and Minnesota Blizzards, as well as the St. Louis Archbishops. So again, we've got some of the top guys in the world playing there. And then the Pacific position. And by the way, the Chess Bras, we mentioned them today. Ho Yifan, the best women's player in the world, playing today for the Chess Bras. They win. They will have an outside shot of qualifying for the final round. And then we've got the Chengdu Pandas, San Diego Surfers, and Dallas Destiny in a very, very tight Pacific division, with the Australia Kangaroos on 5 as well. So we've got 3 teams on 5.5, Jen, in the Pacific division, and 1 team on 5, with the San Jose Hackers on 4.5.
Oh gosh, there's really some serious drama at stake exactly in the Pacific division. What a tight division.
Really tight, and it looks as though our division is actually the most clean cut, actually.
And in the Eastern Division also, it's just that I guess the Gnomes have a chance because they have good tiebreak points, right? They win, the Estonia Horses loses. They'll probably surpass them on tiebreak, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'll do.
Actually, they definitely will.
I will get that table up there for our lovely viewers who are chilling out with us. Here is the Eastern Division as we're discussing. Norway Gnomes here. Magnus Carlsen playing for the Gnomes on 3.5. Estonia are 1 point clear. Norway need to win next week. Regardless, Estonia need to lose. And then we can see the point differential here, 84 versus 80. So,
and luckily they play in the last round.
And they play in the last round. So it's actually a huge opportunity. Norway are going to load up the guns against Estonia next week.
That's a storybook finish, actually. Yeah. I mean, fantastic. Like, I imagine we'll have Simon and Anna calling that match. It's going to be really thrilling. I mean, I'm sure they're going to give a lot of attention to the Gnomes versus the Horses.
Yeah,
hold
on a second.
It's the match. It's the match to watch.
It really is.
Wow, how wonderful for Norway Gnomes that they know what the order is.
Yeah,
you know, it's so much better than having to win and also hope that your opponent loses, right?
Absolutely, of course. Here is the Atlantic Division as well. If you guys were curious, I know we called it out before. The Windmills are through pretty much. Well, actually, they are through because they're 2.5 points ahead of the Archbishops. Question is, they've only dropped a draw this whole league. So the Webster Windmills have been the most dominant team in the whole league. The Pittsburgh Pawn Grabbers on 5.5 are in a great position. And then Minnesota and St. Louis, they've got some work to do with 2 rounds to go. They're coming up next, of course. And then we have the Pacific Division as well. Here we go with the Pacific Division, the Chengdu Pandas out in front. And we have San Diego in second and Dallas Destiny. Well, I say out in front, but it's really tight here. 3 seems
Well,
on
the real
5.5.
question is, Lawrence, what are you going to eat first? Are you going to be so hungry that you're going to eat my chocolates?
No, I tell you what, I'm not joking. I've had this bowl of this whole rack of sushi right there, guys, staring at me. I'm going to smash this sushi. I'm not going to have your chocolates. Your chocolates are safe, Jen. There you go. Chocolates at Gen 1 on stream. And it's been a fun day.
Okay.
It's been a good day. You know, here's the Central Division again for all of you guys who are curious. This is where we're at in our division. And thanks to everybody.
Oh, come on. Have a piece of sushi, Lawrence. I'm going to
wait. I'm a professional. I'm going to wait until we've signed off because these guys, the last thing they want to see is me stuffing my face full of sushi. And yeah, let's see. I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to the playoffs, Jen. I have to say, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. There's going to be a lot of drama. A lot of drama. I hope we get the chance to call some of the games there. And then obviously the Final Four in San Francisco. I don't know who's going to be calling that. I imagine they're going to have a beautiful stadium.
I saw actually it's Grandmasters Robert Hess,
Yes.
Danny Ranch,
Yes.
El Jefe, and Alexander Botez, who did the stream with Danny for Super Saturday, the one that
beautiful,
the one that cracked 20K viewers.
Wow. Well, I think that might be a record for the Pro Chess League. It might be a record.
Oh, that was. Yeah, it definitely was. And I'm taking a look at the fantasy chess standings here.
Yes.
It looks like Sam Copeland, our very own Sam Copeland of Chess.com, is doing quite well. He's up there with 11.5 points. Pretty good indeed. Most people who are doing well at fantasy chess had Ganguly from the Mumbai Movers. So that was like a really important pick, it seems.
Right, okay.
How am I doing? What do you think?
How are you doing? Well, you normally crush everything. I think you're doing okay. Probably.
I'm doing pretty well, better than usual.
Yeah.
I'm definitely in the top, like, I'm in the top, like, 20%. Yeah. I'm crushing Anna. Anna's like, oh, Anna's not doing well, man. Sorry, Anna. You got an amazing little, Twitch emoji, but your fantasy chess skills, wow. She's like almost in last.
Well, I know I'll be in
Greg.
last.
Let's see if I'm beating Greg.
You must be beating your brother. I know that if I do fantasy, I mean, I get hooked on it.
Yeah, I'm beating Greg.
Of course you're beating Greg.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm beating Greg. Who? Yeah, not that many people are beating me, Lawrence. I'm in like 50th. Lalu, Arun Sharma, who used to do the U.S. Chess League with Greg, is also doing very well. This is pretty exciting, this fantasy chess stuff, you know? I mean I love that it gives you a chance to get involved, right?
There was the huge prize?
There is still, if you get everything perfect, you get 10K.
Wow.
So here's the funny thing. I'm looking at the fantasy chess scores, and almost everybody votes for Magnus Carlsen. It's only 1, 2, out of like 200 entries, 1, 2, 3, 4 people voted for others. That's crazy. Wow. Adiban, by the way, was of the Mumbai Movers.
My boy, Bhaskaran. Good player, Bhaskaran.
Yeah, so anyway, I think there should be a lot more. I mean, I'm looking at our viewership, and it's pretty good. I mean, I see that we're often cracking 2,000, 3,000 viewers in certain days. And I was looking at Anna and Simon's stream earlier, and I saw about 2,500. So I feel like there should be more people playing fantasy chess, guys. It's very easy. Just log in the night before or the morning of fantasy chess, and go to the Pro Chess League site. It's one of the main links, and the idea is to punish Greg Shahade, my brother, get a perfect bracket, win 10K. 10K, that's huge. And you know what? Like, you can get your mom, your brother, sign up for Chess.com and tell them to play too. Increase your odds, right? And get more members on Chess.com. Who knows? Maybe they'll sign up and decide they want to play, right?
That's absolutely true, yeah.
Crazier things have happened.
Play on Chess.com, guys. Become a premium member also on Chess.com. You've got a bunch of training material and all kinds of features that you can do by becoming a premium member. It's a great site. The company as well put this on, going in the right direction as well. A great company. and I highly recommend it. And I'm going to shamelessly plug my channel, my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TrentOsk again. Going to be streaming basically 3-4 times a week on Chess.com, playing Blitz, playing Bullet, crushing some Grandmasters, crushing some Souls, and the army is growing. So it'd be really cool if you guys could join me on my quest to become a bit of more or less of, at least a part-time, full-time streamer even. Really enjoy commentating with the likes of Jen and really enjoy doing my Blitz Brawls, and be great to see you there on my journey. So the halftime show, I believe, is with Miss Irina Krush and Robert Hess, which is going to be coming up very, very, very soon. We're just going to get the word before we go there. And yeah, what a day, what a time to be in chess, you know?
That's right. So many great things are happening in chess. You're absolutely right. I mean, we got the candidates coming up, and then right after that, we have the Pro Chess League Championship weekend in San Francisco, Berlin, San Francisco. Right after that, you have the U.S. Championship.
U.S. Championships.
Players involved are going to be finding out. It's just it really is the golden time for chess. It is.
Yeah, and the year itself, we've got...
It's going to get even better, Lawrence. We're trending upwards.
We are trending upwards. We've got the World Championship Finals, of course, at the end of the year. Who will play Magnus Carlsen for his title? We've then got the Olympiad as well this year. Or am I going nuts? I think I'm going nuts. It's the World Cup, right? No, I'm going nuts. Somebody stop me from going completely nuts. It's 11:15. I'm going nuts. It's the Olympiad this year. I'm not going mad, right? It's the Olympiad. I'm pretty sure it's the Olympiad. Yeah, it's the Olympiad in Batumi, I believe, in Georgia this year. So that's going to be a huge event as well.
And you said you're going to be involved in the candidates, perhaps?
Very, very possibly. Watch this space. Follow me at Lawrence Trent IM. Perhaps one of the bots can put my Twitter name in there, at Lawrence Trent IM. Follow me because I will be making an announcement soon. But I do hope to be calling that tournament, as it is literally 15 minutes from where I am currently sitting. And it would be a shame if that was not the case. And we've got, things like the Grand Chess Tour as well. Shout out to St. Louis and all the guys involved in the Grand Chess Tour this year. We've got the Blitz and Rapid over in Belgium and France, as per usual. And then we've got the Sigfield Cup in August. And then we've got the London Chess Classic, which is going to be kind of finale finish, which is a bit different this year, the Grand Chess Tour, how it's all set up. And that's actually taking place after the World Championship match as well. So London is going to be the centre of chess for November, December. Talk to me, Jen. What's happened?
Oh, no. I saw that the fantasy chess has been updated.
Oh, no.
I'm no longer beating Greg.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. And I'm no longer beating Anna. Oh, my
no.
God.
You had a nightmare this week.
Oh, my God. She was like in last. And now, oh my God. Wow.
Oh, no.
What a terrible outcome. What?
And Sam Copeland.
I rechecked it.
Sam Copeland in first position, one of the stars here.
And I mentioned that earlier.
Incredible. Wow.
I mentioned that earlier, but now he's actually in first. He was in 11th before the round.
It's rigged. It's all rigged. I'm telling you, it's rigged. So yeah, get yourselves on the fantasy.
Oh wow, we have somebody called Tom Polgar doing really well, and I know that I'm pretty sure one of Susan's sons is named Tom. So story checks out. Wow, good job.
Anything in the Twitch chat?
He has a lot of windmills on his team. Yeah, he does. He does. He has. I think he's got a lot of windmills on his team. Yeah. A lot of people have windmills on their teams.
We do.
All right, we are ready to bring you Grandmasters Robert Hess and Irina Krush for the Atlantic Division.
Beautiful. Well, it's been a pleasure as always, Jen. Thanks for helping me call today.
Yeah, it's always fun, and I've got a Cookie Monster waiting for me, so I better get out of here.
All right, guys. Thanks as well to everybody
guys.
tuning in.
Thank you for listening.
See you
and
next
watching.
week. Here's the halftime show. Yeah, here's the halftime show now, and we'll see you guys next week.